only, I think you guys are getting going at 7:30 if I'm right on that. I don't have a time, but I think Dina did tell me that a couple of days ago. 444-0008. That's 205-444-0008 or stardome.com.
Hey, and I got a comedian opening up for us tonight, too.
Who's that? Do you know?
David Lynham. Used to be with the Lynham band.
Oh, wow.
He's a comedian
He's doing
now?
comedy now. I said, you better not suck.
What? I did not know Lynham was doing comedy.
I think you did tell me that.
He's doing it.
He is good.
Isn't he a really good guitarist?
Drummer.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, here we go now, live on a Friday. Our Pick 3 is up live and rolling for you right now. Brought to you by our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. You can go play. This is the next to the last one. 3 chances to get a ball in the bucket or to get 3 more balls in the bucket. Nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3. Go play now. The games are up. I think I've got a 3-0 later in the show when I give you my picks. I love my picks this weekend.
You love them.
Love my picks this weekend.
I will
Unfortunately,
say,
I can't play a Friday night game. I think the best game on the board is tonight, by the way. If you
Let me see if I can pick it.
If everybody wants to fade Dunaway,
hang on.
Get ready to fade Dunaway.
Is this going to be as good as the Duke Kentucky pick?
In basketball?
Yeah.
I don't have my basketball numbers dialed in yet. Still working on that algorithm.
I think you like UCLA plus the 4 on the road at Washington.
My heart likes that one, but I am not betting that one.
Okay.
MyBookie.ag, where I'm betting tonight.
Okay.
I'm riding with the Mean Green Dancing Machine on the road, giving a point at UTSA.
That was my sneaky good game, Lance. 72.5 is your total on that one.
Yeah, I will have a play side, maybe even a total on this one.
If he jumps in that quick that he's going to play,
North Texas,
that means he likes
Brown knew this. North Texas was my favorite play last week, and that number fluctuated so much because whether or not Bryson Daly was actually going to start for Army, so it got down as low as 3 when the reports were really strong that he wasn't going to play, and Dwayne Coleman, the backup, would start for Jeff Monken, and then it gets revealed that he is in fact going to play, and it goes back up to 6. If you watch that game, and I watched way too much of it, I mean, North Texas went up and down the field on them. They couldn't convert 4th downs. Their red zone was absolutely awful, red zone offense, and Army found a way to win that game. But I just wonder why, watching North Texas, so many mistakes. I don't know. Chandler Morris is a good quarterback, but, man, they just they don't seem really well coached.
72.5 is the total.
It's a big total.
You like a side play. You don't like the total. That's
I like North Texas.
Minus the 1?
Minus the 1.
You like the over or the under?
That one's stinky. This isn't Frank Harris's UTSA team.
It is not.
Why is that stinky?
Right? Huh?
You think most people would think that UTS should be favored?
No.
I was about to say North Texas is a much better team.
I know. That's 1 point, Lance.
You
1
think
point.
it should be more? Is what you're saying.
Yes.
That's why it's stinky.
Yes, it should be 11, 21, 31. It'll be a blowout in the dome tonight. That small little Alamo Dome down there. Is it as small as the house?
I've never been to the Alamo Dome.
I only saw.
Oh, even the Alamo.
The Alamo's tiny.
It's teeny tiny.
Teeny tiny. It's
Alamo
much
Dome.
smaller. I was prepared for the Alamo to be small because that's what everybody says.
Right.
And it was even smaller than I thought.
Alamo Dome, about 60,000 for football, I guess?
I think so. And I'm trying to. I saw the stadium. I mean, it's nothing like.
I hated it for basketball. I mean, it was very, very bright, but they always had that off-brand Taco Mama. What was it called? You know what I'm talking about? It was like in pastel colors, and it was always on that big curtain that separated everything.
Taco Mac? No.
Taco Casa?
Nope.
No. All right, I'll look it up. San Antonio taco joint, right?
Yeah, it was something they tried to do there. Like our man Will Haver has dominated the taco industry now locally with Taco Mama.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was called, though.
Fish taco?
No, there's got to be San Antonio Spurs all over, so I'm sure somebody will pop this up.
Taco Daddy?
It is not Taco Daddy. I think that's probably a shot at, like, the other side of Taco Mama.
Well, there's San Antonio taco
But you
joint.
guys remember what I was talking about, right?
Yeah, but I can remember the logo, but I just can't remember the name of it, obviously.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, I never really liked that venue for anything.
Is the Final Four at the Alamo Dome this year?
Yep, sure is.
Wow. Del Taco?
It's not Del Taco. I think that might be it. Taco Cabana.
Taco Cabana?
I think so.
Thank you, Stephen,
I think so.
for watching us. Stephen, for doing that, you get a free trip. To Taco Mama if you're ever in the Birmingham area.
I like San Antonio.
I've never been, man. I've always wanted to go.
Yeah, I've had people tell me they don't like it. They can't believe I do. I really liked San Antonio. Now, look, I get it. I stayed on the Riverwalk, and we never left, the touristy part of it. So I completely understand that I'm sure it's got bad places. Yeah. But, boy, I really liked it, man.
Well,
you realize I only brought this up to mention I like North Texas.
That's okay, but
I was
going
gonna
to say San Antonio tourism.
Birmingham is maybe my favorite city.
I love Birmingham.
I love Birmingham, but you know what?
There's bad places.
You go to the wrong place.
That's right. I mean, there's places I would tell people, no, don't go to that part of Birmingham.
It's part of
all
it.
good, yeah.
Bill Bender writing a story yesterday. What if Deion Sanders went to Auburn in 2022? He writes an alternate history on the Plains where Coach Prime takes over the SEC.
Well, look, at that
if you
point,
want to read that.
At that point, it was laughable, and I think most people would agree. Say what you want. Some people were pro Deion, some people were negative. I always said I loved the personality, the player. I never believed he was going to be the head coach that he is at this point. But if Auburn would have hired him in 2022, that would have been a desperation hire. And I don't know if it works to the level it's working at Colorado. Maybe it does.
Well, he brings those two players with him.
Well, there's no doubt about that. And look, I mean, if you just, with Auburn's current construct of this roster, if you had those two players, what is Auburn's record right now? 3-5? No, 3-6. Is that right?
Yep,
Yeah.
3-6.
I think they'd probably be 6-3.
So you're saying this is post Harsin.
Just with those two players.
This is post Harsin where I missed the year.
Deion Sanders went to, what if I told you? Deion Sanders went to Auburn in 2022.
I don't. I mean,
hard to say.
Is he a better coach than Hugh Freeze?
I think that
I don't know. It looks like it right now, but historically, Hugh Freeze done some good things.
I think this was the scenario where they were trying to force Harsin out after 1 year and hired Deion.
Okay,
and that's a scenario that was happening in 2022.
No, it was when Freeze was. I mean, it was that Halloween day is when people were talking about it.
Okay,
because he was still the coach at Jackson State, and there were rumblings. Remember, Charles Barkley basically said Deion's going to be the next head coach at Texas A&M. And we thought it was laughable, and that's when Auburn fans were like, well, some Auburn fans, well, hey, what about Deion to the Plains? And I was one of the immediate guys that was like, that would not work out. It would be a disaster. Just like the year or two before Norvell got the job, there were fans at Florida State that said, bring Deion back.
I think you're underestimating it, in fact. With Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, you said 6-3.
Yeah.
I think the only loss they have that I still think would be a loss is Georgia.
Okay, let's go through it. Cal, they would have won.
Yeah, they wouldn't have turned it over 5 times
They
with Shedeur
would have
Sanders.
beaten Arkansas.
Yeah, they turned it over a bunch against Arkansas.
Yeah, they're
too.
not beating Georgia.
Nope, they're not going to throw that. I mean, the Oklahoma game's probably not close enough that even a pick six at the end would matter. I don't know what games they lose outside of
they
Georgia.
might be 8-1. They might be in Tennessee spot right now.
Now, I don't know that. Now, again, I'm not saying that's because Deion is that much better of a coach than Hugh Freeze. I'm saying it because of the guys that came with Deion.
Yeah, and I guarantee you who would love this? Cam Coleman. Those young wide receivers would have loved this. Yeah.
3-6 Troy never wanted Prime, still don't.
That's fine.
It's an alternate universe read from Bill Bender, Sporting News. If you want to go check that out,
it's pretty fascinating though.
Yeah, because we think about Lane Kiffin. That's been a conversation a lot lately. What if he had taken the job?
Yeah, look,
and brings up Deion, who's getting poised and ready for maybe another big weekend, one step closer to the Big 12 championship.
Well, here's the facts.
The facts.
Lane Kiffin, I think, is going to be in the college football playoff. And I think Deion Sanders is going to be in the college football playoff. And in year 2, Hugh Freeze is not even going to be in a bowl.
Yeah. You're right about that. Now, Maverick Hammerfist says, tap the brakes, boys. Who is Deion playing against? They'd be playing against the same teams that Auburn would have beaten without 5 turnovers, without 4 turnovers, without a pick six at the end. That's my only point. It's not really even a Deion thing.
No, I just threw the number out there, and when you brought that up, it makes a ton of sense. I agree with you. With those two players healthy, Auburn wins those games.
I mean, at Missouri, you think they're going to lose that
Nope.
game? I mean, they were awful on offense at Missouri and still almost won. They were awful on offense against Oklahoma, and without a pick six at the end, they win that game.
They've been awful on offense and
all year.
Been in every game.
Yeah, that's my whole point.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of a lot of players, a singular player could have changed Auburn's season.
Yeah, one great player.
Well, quarterback.
Yeah.
And that is one of the criticisms of Hugh Freeze is that he scanned that landscape and said, we'll stick with that. I mean, you don't even have to bring Deion in. If I gave Auburn Cam Ward, he was in the transfer portal.
Oh, and I think
Again, they're 9-1.
That's what's frustrating. Well, with Cam Ward, they might be undefeated.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know how the Georgia game would go.
Yeah, I think that's what's so frustrating for Auburn fans is you were, I mean, at this point, it looks like very, very stubborn on keeping your guy there and not going out and getting the guy. I mean, you've got Auburn friends, Dunaway, that spend money on this program. I mean, would they have spent a little bit more to get what Cam Ward brings? I think they would have.
Oh, I think we've had that conversation. I think I brought it on the air from the golf course that early on, I don't know which loss it was after, but I remember them saying, you know, what bothers me most is it's not his money when he says he didn't want to spend the NIL money on such and such for a $1.5 million quarterback. It's our money.
Yeah, and that would piss me off too.
Yeah. And it was like, why is he saying we can't spend?
Because by the way, we're spending our money on you already. At what's he making now? $8 million,
Yeah,
8.5,
somewhere in there.
Yeah, we're spending that money on you, and we're willing to go out and get a quarterback that will win us games. Speaking of which, well, I got it 4 downs.
Okay,
we'll save. We can do it whenever you guys.
TV5, by the way, if I am casting a modern day Western, I think I'm going to let Cam Newton play the role of either my sheriff or the villain that runs the stagecoach.
I think he's the villain that runs the stagecoach.
I couldn't even watch the Western on Netflix, The Harder They Fall.
Yeah.
With Idris Elba. Did you see it, Tyler?
I have not.
It got really good reviews. It just looked so hokey, and there was some Cam Newton-like characters in it.
Yeah. Cam looks like the eccentric billionaire. I guess he was a millionaire back then, right?
Yeah.
The rich guy, the eccentric rich guy in town.
He looks in. Johnny, give me a shot. Are we playing poker in here today?
Yeah, I don't know what that.
Set me up, guys.
If I describe that look, I think Jim has described it. It's Old Western.
I'll tell you, that's a lot of work, too.
It is. That is a lot to get dressed.
Yeah.
I hope he wears sweats into the studio there and changes in the green room. All right, let's get into football, some serious talk, and also basketball tonight. We'll set the table for Alabama on the road at Purdue in this very opening segment right after we tell you about a couple of our great sponsors. One of them is Storm Restoration Roofing. That is Greg from Pell City. Greg from Pell City and his wife, Andrea, they are the great Nelson family that are the owners, locally owned, of Storm Restoration Roofing. For over 20 years, locally owned and A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. That's because they do great things for the customers, like a free, no-cost, no-obligation roof inspection. Absolutely free. You just call Greg up, 542-3531, 542-3531, or look him up on Facebook. Greg from Pell City. He'll come out and check you. He handles everything from storm damage year-round, roof replacements when they get too old, insurance roofing claims, restoration inspections. He does it all, and he does it in a trustworthy way. Free quotes, free evaluations. When the unexpected happens, leave it to the pros at Storm Restoration Roofing. That's Greg from Pell City on Facebook and 205-542-3531. And the lock every day brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. LT tonight in basketball, Alabama's a 2.5-point favorite on the road at Purdue.
I am not really surprised. I think Purdue, a lot of this, and look, Matt Painter, you're not going to take away anything. He finally got to that Final Four last year, played for a national championship, but they are a big brand, and they're playing in the Mackey Center, and that's a difficult place to play. But I'm not surprised at all that Alabama's favored. By the way, gave out 4 plays last night, 2-1 in college basketball, but we had the Commanders. And I know we'll get to that game.
Fourth down.
Fourth down with Dan
Hey,
Quinn.
let me ask you before let's just get to it right here. It's 12-10. You got a 45-yard field goal.
Yeah, which is pretty automatic in the NFL.
Which should be at least 95% in the NFL, unless we've got conditions. Now, I don't know what the conditions were because Elliott couldn't make a kick on the other side of the sideline.
I think they said Monday night, correct me if I'm wrong, with your kicker, NFL kickers 50-plus are like 79% this year.
They did.
I mean, it's insanity.
It really is. And you see even some of the misses from 60 are like over the upright, but maybe a yard or two right. I mean, these kickers are unbelievable now. The only thing I would say, and they brought this up, like Dan Quinn has gone for it on fourth down a lot, and they've been super successful.
But that number, I saw this morning, LT, he was over 50% a few weeks ago, but the last few weeks, that number has dropped a lot. Like he's barely over 40% now.
I just think in that situation on the road, when you're playing really for the division lead, and in such a statement game that would have been for the Commanders, kick it there, take the lead.
Low-scoring game, take points.
yeah.
Put the pressure back on them.
Put the pressure back on them, and when you give them a short field and then Saquon takes over, and then the very next offensive snap for the Commanders, he throws a pick, and the game's over at that point. And they basically controlled that entire game. Like, Philadelphia could do nothing offensively in the first half. That's why Dan Quinn, being a defensive guy, he has been very aggressive this year. I think you got to kick in that situation. Anyway, if he kicks that situation, I believe I get the cover plus 4.5, and I go 3-1 last night, but we went 2-2.
Yeah, because chances are good. You never know, but Saquon scores 2. I mean, he goes off after that. He runs over them 2 long touchdown runs, and it ends up being a little bit of a blowout. But if the pressure's back on 13-12, they may not get those 2 runs. They may be playing for a field goal back on the other side, and you get into a field goal kicking contest. I'm with you. I would have kicked that field goal all day long. Tell us about Hemphill.
Yeah.
Tell us about the lock.
And by the way, like I love that we force quarterbacks to be the MVPs, but Saquon, to me, might be your MVP right now in the NFL.
By the
Playing
way,
great, yeah.
If you are not keeping up, leads the NFL in rushing, 1,137 yards. Had 146 rushing last night and 52 yards receiving. Took the game over.
Yeah, he has been. I mean, it's more baffling. Like, if you're a New York Giants fan, first of all, you paid Daniel Jones a lot of money, and you let Saquon go when he was willing to take less money. Insane. Hemphill Services, not insane. Trust the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. Whether any of these arise in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
And our friends at mybookie.ag as we get into basketball, Brownie. Will you check that number for me at mybookie.ag
The
on
Bama number?
Alabama
Yeah.
and Purdue? They're playing tonight at 6 o'clock. For those that are asking, Taylor Korn is trying to answer you guys individually. Peacock. It's on Peacock tonight. Streaming only. It's part of the Big Ten television package. You don't like it? I understand. That's one game. You don't like it. I'm reading the Purdue stuff last night. They hate it because they have a lot of games that are on Peacock streaming. Some of them are on, what's the version of CBS? Paramount streaming only.
Yeah, I hate it because what you don't get is it messes up the quad box.
Yeah. So
No, you're right about that. If you're a YouTube customer.
I happen to have Paramount. I happen to have Peacock. Not that big a deal for me. I'll click on the Peacock tonight, and I'll ride the Peacock tonight.
Now,
Watch Alabama.
I will
and Purdue.
too, but it will mess up your quad box. Like, I will have the undercard and the Paul Tyson fight. That is going to be, the main up there. We've got a bunch of college football, so I'll try to finagle that, and then I'll have to have a solo TV. First world problem.
It's a first world. God, I got to dedicate
for
one
Peacock.
Here's the way I'm doing it.
TVs.
I'm going 6 o'clock basketball on big TV, main TV, and then I'm switching to the Paul fight, and my alternate TVs are going to be on the other stuff.
People are asking when the Paul fight's going to go. They project 9:30.
That's about right.
Airtime's 8 o'clock on Netflix.
Yeah.
That's for the undercards when you say airtime.
Yeah. And you got a cat fight
Eastern.
early that was unbelievable 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Oh, my
Same two
gosh.
boxers?
So you guys remember, what was it, Mayweather, Pacquiao, and there wasn't a lot of action?
Yeah, that was the one where I stood next to Wimp in your basement.
Yeah. All defense. These two chicks, it was like a Rocky movie. Like, I forgot how many punches were thrown, but not only thrown, but landed.
That girl fight that night is the two girls that are fighting tonight?
No, this was a rematch of like 2 years ago.
No, you were just making the point that it's the opposite of the no action Mayweather Pacquiao.
Yeah. And these two girls apparently don't like each other. And,
all right. I like good storyline.
And we got a good slap last night. The way I know it was manufactured.
Yeah, not fake at all on that one.
Would you want to get slapped like that?
I would not want to get slapped by Tyson, but if I know it's
there
coming,
it is.
If I know it's coming, I can brace myself.
Scott's so quick.
They had to do that because the
it's manufactured.
The news conference was so boring.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I think they went back to Tyson afterwards and say, because I had a TikTok yesterday about how docile Tyson was, and I was like, that could be bad news for Jake Paul. I mean, Mike Tyson's like, he's just sitting there just brewing. He's not smack talking or anything. He's just brewing. He's gonna knock the crap out of this guy. And then they must have talked to him afterwards, like, dude, we're paying you money. You got to put on a show. You got to put on a show.
Apparently, Taylor Korn is dating Marky Mark when he was in his Calvin Klein days, the Funky Bunch. The shipbuilder that she's dating, because she told me, I was asking in the hall, and she was like, neither one of those guys look like they're in shape. And Pay, can you pull that picture again?
No, I thought the same thing. Like, I thought,
are you kidding?
No. I thought there's no way Mike Tyson has trained hard enough for this fight. And then I saw him in underwear yesterday, and I'm like, nope, that guy's still training.
That guy's 58, and
So,
Paul
wait.
is only like 215. And look at the mass that he's got at 215.
So Taylor doesn't think either one of those guys are in shape?
Nope.
Okay, just go ahead and cancel. I will never be swimming with Taylor ever. I mean, are you kidding me?
No, if Mike Tyson looks like that at that age, that's incredible.
I mean, and Jake Paul has been busting his ass, and he's just beefed up. He used to be a little bit more ripped, but I mean, that's still a lot of definition for that size.
I agree. MyBookie.ag. All right, I'll start where we started this. Dunaway, to answer your question. Bama, a 2.5
Long
point
way to
favorite.
get here.
I know, 2.5. That's our show, though. I love it. 2.5 point favorite in West Lafayette. Dunaway, 163.5 is your total in that game. To answer your question.
Can we get her to come in and explain this?
Sure, I'm fine with that. Paul Tyson, minus 208. Minus 208 is where we find Jake Paul. That's down a touch from yesterday, Dunaway. I think it was minus 214 yesterday. Jake Paul was. College football, you got some point spread moves overnight. Don't want to read too much into this, Lance, but Texas-Arkansas this time yesterday was 13.5. It is currently 12. Why do you think that number has dipped that much? You don't know.
And it opened at 13.5.
I think I saw it at 13.5 earlier this week. Auburn up to 24.5. They're favored over Lamo, Louisiana Monroe. LSU down 0.5 point. They're favored 4. As they are on the road at Florida. And then Tennessee, Georgia dipped a little bit too. It's down to 9.5. Georgia's favored there. All those games available. MyBookie.ag, code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere when you use code next round. At MyBookie.ag, they're going to double your initial deposit. Code next round at MyBookie.ag.
I don't think I took this out of context. So if I did, help me out.
Well, I'm trying to find the picture because there was a certain picture from weigh-ins that I saw. I mean, I haven't been reaching this by any means. I'm not a big
Well,
boxing
Scott,
girl.
just flash the one that you showed us, and you take a look at this. And I mean, this is, if you saw yesterday's, I guess, final weigh-in, this is what you saw. I mean, these are the guys right here. Now, there was a day when Tyson was smoking weed and was retired.
Yeah. They
Just last
that,
week.
It
was
seemed
not-
like that was recent.
I know
But
what
I did
pictures
say
Taylor's
I
talking
know that
about.
they
Oh,
could,
so you saw it too?
Yeah. I was pulling some pictures for the meltdown for
Yeah.
a video we did, and there was a picture from that was taken from both of them from the front, and it looked like they had guts.
Okay.
Almost.
So Tyler backs you up, Taylor. He says they had guts.
Okay, sorry, I can't hear you.
No,
Tyler, but,
I knew that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll try and find the picture. And I'm not by any means saying that they're out of shape and couch potatoes, but when you think of a boxer, I just think that in my mind I have this image of these chiseled men that have 0%
Take a look
body
at Tyson Fury and Jerry Cooney back in the day. There they are. I mean,
Is
I
that
don't,
the photo?
I
I
don't
mean,
see the gut you're talking
I
about.
didn't
but
say gut. That
Oh,
was
I'm
not
talking
my
about
That was
Tyler.
Tyler's words.
No, but I think, I don't know, guys. I probably spoke out of context. I mean, I know that they're very strong, but I don't know. Okay, I take it back. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry,
it's okay.
guys.
It's good to see you, Taylor.
No, I'm with Dunaway though. I'm like, dude, we're never having a pool party at Disrupt up here, are we?
Now, I will say, I mean, Mike Tyson is not the shape he was in when he was the most feared man in the world.
How many
But my
58-year-olds
gosh,
would
he's 58.
would pay to look like
Oh,
that?
gosh, yes, all of them.
I mean, I don't think you can have more definition at 58.
Yeah, I promise you, if you give me Mike Tyson's body right now, even with the tattoo,
Are you going open casket with no shirt?
I'd take the tattoo on his chest, the one on his face, and I'd wear the Versace bikini bottoms to Starbucks.
Dunaway is like me. We're both well documented. We want to be cremated, but would you do open casket, no shirt, and then cremate you after the service?
Yeah. Let them all see me first.
Hey, I'd let Taylor stream my cremation if I look like that.
Oh wow!
Do we give views?
We could watch him burn at that point. Yeah, as long as you guys pay, what's it called when you hit a few dollars in the chat to be able to chat?
Oh, the super chat?
Yeah, only if you guys super chatted a little bit.
That's right. Yeah, let's raise some money for something.
Yeah, for a good cause. All right. We got Andy Staples in the next segment. God, I hope he wasn't watching the last 5 minutes.
Nah.
Andy may be scared away to join the show because I would imagine he's not as cut up as Mike Tyson.
Andy played college football.
He did back in the day.
And he's
Offensive
lost,
lineman.
he's lost a lot of weight there.
He had his hand in the dirt
Yes.
back then. All right, so we'll get to the college football and the Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3 coming up. But basketball tonight, that coverage right now with cut number 9, if you can. Tyler, I'm sorry. I need cut 9 right here. Nate Oates. About going on the road. Alabama playing Purdue on the road, and it's the first of 12 different teams, about 15 games against teams currently ranked in the top 25. Auburn's already got that win on the road virtually at Houston, wasn't on campus. Alabama goes on campus to Purdue, and Nate Oates is looking for a little DNA.
Yeah, I mean, we tell them the environment's going to be great. We know it. I also told them this morning in video, like, the toughest competitors I've ever coached have been at their best in the toughest environments. Kind of reference Brandon Miller at South Carolina a couple of years ago. Like, you look at our guys that have played well at Auburn, our guys that have played well on the road you look at what Clowney did late against Arkansas at Arkansas, what Brandon did late against them. I mean, if you want to be a competitor, it's a lot easier to, be a front runner and look great at home when the whole crowd's behind you. The real competitors show up on the road.
It is interesting that they are favored based on the fact that Purdue has won 38 consecutive home non-conference games. And, Zach Edey's no longer there, but if you watched a lot of Purdue last year, Braden Smith was that 1-2 combo with Zach Edey.
Could be one of the best guards Alabama faced the entire regular season coming up here tonight.
And he is an All-American, and, they got the best of Alabama last year. They won that game by 6. Mark Sears had 35. And one of the problems for Alabama early on, although they've won their games, is they're only hitting 30% behind the arc. And, I guess that's good because they're going to heat up at some point. When this team gets hot, it's a team that can even run a team like Purdue.
I'm interested in rebounding because I think if you just bring up the stats right now, Purdue's rebounding is down a little bit, as you would imagine, Zach Edey. But they're also playing, I think, at a higher pace of play than they did last year. But Matt Painter is always going to play a slow version of basketball, if by the terms that we judge it by here in the South. Interesting matchup tonight. Can't wait to see it because it's Alabama's first test of the season. We get to see what all these players look like in a game where maybe the rotation isn't as deep, or players coming in and out of games as frequently as we've seen.
Well, you're not searching for rotations or testing rotations.
Yeah.
You're playing one and sticking with it a little bit more. I think you'll get a good indication who Nate Oates thinks are the real starters, right?
Yeah,
the guys that you're going to depend on when you have to shorten a rotation maybe a little bit.
Yeah, if somebody's starting to get hot a little bit, they're gonna have to stay out there a little bit. Stay hot.
That's right.
Stay hot. Can't wait to see that peacock for the television broadcast. Always with our buddy Chris Stewart and Brian Passink on the Crimson Tide Sports Radio Network. If you want to pull that in as well.
Are you guys surprised High Point's favored over UAB?
Oh, I am actually.
Where
is that? I guess that's at High Point.
High Point, yeah.
It's a little road game, not a neutral.
Is High Point in North Carolina?
It is. Yeah.
Or is it in High Point, South Carolina, just outside of Charlotte?
Oh, I thought it was in North Carolina.
I thought it was in South Carolina.
Interesting,
right outside
Jim.
of.
It's in the Carolinas, is probably what we would say.
I think it is North Carolina, but isn't it just outside of Charlotte?
Could be. High Point.
And they're 3-0, by the way, and they've dominated. Like Coppin State, you guys remember when they knocked off as a 15 number 2 South Carolina?
Yeah.
They just beat Coppin State by 42.
It's in High Point, North Carolina, Dunaway Methodist School. Your dollars go to that one.
Yeah, how about that? Maggie could have chose that over Duke. What are we doing? All right, when we come back, Andy Staples joins us to talk about Week 12 of college football. The show being brought to you by a couple of great folks, including our friends at Odie's, LT.
2 great locations for you to get in, watch a little live music tonight and tomorrow night. Good place to relax on the patio after a long week of work. Get ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. You can do that at both locations. Fall weather is going to be perfect. You can watch games out there. 2 locations, the original in Crestline, the newest location in Edgewood. Get in, see Will Haver and that great staff. Enjoy incredible food from Rodney Davis. 2 locations. It's Odie's Tavern.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, urologycentersalabama.com, 35 urologists, 16 locations, 1 near you in the great state of Alabama. If you want to set an appointment or get more details about how you can stay on top of your health, call 205-930-0920 or visit urologycentersalabama.com. They treat all your urological needs, from prostate health to kidney stones, vasectomy, and everything else. Guys, early detection, so important for everything. So when you move from your 20s to your 30s, it's time to start thinking about our friends at urologycentersalabama.com. Back in a moment.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Man, I love a good meal.
I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to Fall Saturdays.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
He gets car crashes. I get that in my time.
That's not very teamly, not making an effort.
Yeah.
You can always take a shower.
At least do the catch.
You got to make the catch.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get to Andy Staples in a second. Getting ready for football. You can go play our Pick 3 again this week, next week, and then rivalry weekend, and that's it. And then we'll be giving away our grand prize. We'll tell you what that grand prize is after we play the song when we get to our picks a little bit later on. The Pants Store gets you ready for the actual games in the stadium. or great gifts under the tree this year with the Pants Store, pantstore.com, wherever you're listening to us. Or you can go into the location in Leeds and in Birmingham, Huntsville, Tuscaloosa, and Auburn for your game day headquarters. All the Alabama-Auburn sweatshirts and polos and hats and quarter zips, Gentile, Antigua, Cutterbuck, Horn Legend, and all that. Great wear for the ladies as well, with free alterations and free gift wrapping. Western boots and New Balance and Hoka footwear as well. Nothing says Roll Tide and War Eagle like the Pants Store. Pantstore.com, pantstore.com, your game day headquarters year-round. And trust me when I tell you, and Brown will back this up, if you've got somebody in your house 16 to 30, they would probably
love it.
They would probably rather you go to a Pants Store than just about any other store in America.
That is correct.
Pantstore.com. Pantstore.com. A lot of great wear there.
Yeah, I mean, I told you, my daughter's, some of her sorority sisters from out of town were like, "You live that close to the Pants Store?" And she's like, I live that close to like 3 or 4 Pants stores.
Our buddy Mike was in town from Atlanta yesterday, and he just missed you guys and wanted me to tell you guys hello.
I hated I missed him. I love him.
But he came into the sales office, and a girl he's dating, younger girl, was in there with him, and she's looking at our whiteboard at different clients, and she's like, "You guys have the Pants Store on?"
It's crazy.
And so she started talking to Taylor about what Taylor and EG do for the Pants Store on game day weekends. And she's like, you know, I do some stuff with the Pants Store. I've got a ton. My daughters are doing stuff with the Pants Store.
It's
really
wild.
cool.
Yeah, it's almost like a national brand now. And like kids that grew up around here have had it forever.
Yeah, Pants Store, pantstore.com. Go check it out. Hey, interesting footnote. If Alabama is to beat Mercer, by the way, Mercer, number 7 in the FCS standings, it is basically Alabama playing North Dakota State this weekend.
So that's what Brown was asking a number for me, and I did probably exaggerate the number because based on the fact that it's Mercer and people don't realize what you're about to tell us about the Bears. So I put this number at 44.5. Probably should be more 38.
Yeah. At 44.5, I'd take Mercer in this game.
You can at nextroundlive.com and the Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3.
But
that was the whole purpose of that conversation.
They are the number 7 team in the FCS. They're one of the better FCS teams, so they've got some talent as they come rolling in. But if Alabama wins this game, Kalen DeBoer becomes the first Alabama coach in his first year to win 8 or more games since Ray Perkins in 1983.
So first Alabama coach in year 1 to win 8 or more games. So by almost any measurement since Bear Bryant, this has been the most successful first-year head coach in Alabama football.
If he's able to win tomorrow.
Well, and as it should be, though. I mean, you guys go back to the history of Alabama football. I mean, it's been kind of disastrous endings for some of these coaches. In other coaches, it felt really tired on the back end, whether it was Bear Bryant or Gene Stallings. So where Nick Saban left this program, really a play away from probably winning a national championship last year, and then a guy that played for the national championship coming over and bringing some of his players. I mean, it's an interesting number, but I don't think you guys are surprised.
I'm not surprised. No, it's a low number. If he had come in and only hit 8, if he only hits 8, it's going to be very disappointing.
Yeah, well, so Perkins finished 8-4. So
did,
obviously, one more win after this, which you think you would get at Oklahoma, will make it the most successful first year. I'm going to go back, but it could be in Alabama football history.
Yeah,
do you think it is?
Go back to Bear Bryant first year.
Well, Bryant's first year wasn't that good.
It was coming off of an 0 and whatever.
Yeah, he was replacing Ears Whitworth. Bryant's first year in Tuscaloosa, he was better than I thought. 5-4. 5-4.
Yeah.
Harold Drew, I can't believe we're going this far back. Harold Drew was 8-3, so that's the same as Perkins. Frank Thomas was 9-1. 9 appears to be your number to beat right there.
Yeah.
Wallace Wade was just 7-2. So no, I mean, I think with 2 more wins, you would have
build this man a statue.
Well, I mean, 2 more wins. I mean, and it's look. There's a lot that goes into this. So how many of those coaches took over as good a situation as Nick Saban's dynasty coming off a semifinal appearance?
0.
Probably none of them, historically.
And I did find it interesting.
Not even Perkins did.
And I know that Taylor sent this out yesterday with Dan Orlovsky talking about the second best coach behind Kirby Smart is Dan Lanning. I don't know how you can say that. Lanning hasn't won anything.
I did think that was an interesting comment.
Kalen DeBoer has absolutely owned Dan Lanning. Kalen DeBoer has won a championship in the Pac-12. He's played for a national championship. So, look, to each their own. They can have their own opinions, and we love Dan, but I thought that was a little strange.
Yeah, Lanning was the question we asked, and he was just sort of off the cuff and not prepared. We didn't set him up and tell him we were going to ask him about that. riding down the road coming off an NFL show. He probably didn't sit there and draw it out like not only his landing not beating Kalen DeBoer, he lost 2 very big games to Kalen DeBoer last year. And DeBoer is still in the game a little bit. But Lanning's number 1 in the country right now, so he's not chopped liver either. Andy Staples, scheduled to be with us in a second. Show being brought to you by our man, Dr. B. He's got LT's hair ready for another football weekend. Get that hair looking good, and then you just lay around on the couch and watch football.
Yeah, for more than 20 years, when men and women have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic procedures. When I started to thin out, when we started this venture over 3 years ago, I asked around. Dr. Beckenstein is the name everyone mentioned. Not only did I go see Dr. B, get the consultation, Brown has done the exact same thing. All we're doing, 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time, the non-invasive treatment on the couch while you're watching your favorite team, your favorite show, whatever it is. That's all we do. The hair has more than doubled in thickness. Call. Be preemptive on this. You can go online. Tons of information on these different procedures. Technology evolving nonstop. Dr. B's got some new stuff that we're going to be talking about the first of the year. But go online, t3hair.net. That's t3hair.net.
And our friend Daniel A. Moore, talking about Ray Perkins. He had Cornelius Bennett hit one of the Daniel A. Moore prints from back then. The kick under Ray Perkins. There's been several Daniel A. Moore prints from Ray Perkins, and already one for the Kalen DeBoer era. That's the Deuce is Wild, the win over Georgia. You can get that pre-ordered right now, or you can go ahead and order the tribute to Coach Nick Saban and his 6 national championships, the legend, or you can go ahead and pick up that 2025 calendar. It's available. Coupon code TNR for 20% off. All that from our friends at DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. If you're an Alabama fan, this is your location for the great stocking stuffer or the perfect gift this holiday season. DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com there. All right, when Andy joins us, we'll jump in with him. Until then, let's continue with our Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3. It's brought to you by our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. You can go play right there at nextroundlive.com. Nextroundlive.com. LT, I'll tell you about B-dubs in a second. But Tyler, hit the song, man.
Pick 3, it's time for the pick 3. 3 for you and 3 for me, that equals a pick 3. Say goodbye to your family, it's time for the pick 3. Only time that I'm happy is when it's time for pick 3.
11 Central Alabama locations, including that Buffalo Wild Wings Go location in Vestavia, #1 sports bar for over 20 years in Birmingham, wall-to-wall TVs, all locations. Beautiful setups, 26 sauces and seasonings, along with a full menu of great burgers, wraps, and salads. Get in for all of your Saturday action. Get in for your NFL Sunday ticket. It's all going on at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Hey, 28 and 27, 2 magic numbers in this Tennessee-Georgia game. Georgia's won 28 straight at home, nation's longest home win streak. Tennessee's lost 27 straight road games to teams in the top 14 of the AP poll. It's been a while since Tennessee's beaten a good team on the road.
So I went to Athens in 2016 for Kirby Smart's first game against Tennessee. Butch Jones was the head coach. Josh Dobbs was the quarterback. Jacob Eason was the quarterback on the other side. I told you guys, I left that game at halftime. I went to this wild-ass bar where Georgia fans are going nuts. Jacob Eason hits
Riley Ridley.
Yeah, Riley Ridley,
Yep.
Calvin's little brother. And the place goes ballistic. And then DirecTV goes out. And there's 2 Tennessee fans in the bar. And about 3 minutes later, they start going nuts. And I've never seen a bar clear out as quick as a bar has. Bottles breaking, everything. Well, guess what? That was the last time Tennessee has beaten Georgia. Since then, Georgia has won 7 consecutive games by an average of 26.4 points per game. They have dominated this. My question to you guys would be, if Georgia wins by that amount against Tennessee tomorrow, I think Tennessee's got a college football playoff problem.
There's a lot of questions that go around that. How much does Nico play, if at all? He is questionable in last night's availability report.
Well, and it was an undisclosed upper body injury, and now they're calling it a concussion.
Yeah, I mean,
and we know how those are.
That's right. Concussion protocol makes it super, super tricky. So I think that is one factor, and you brought it up, Jim. How are they viewed if Nico doesn't play and they lose, right? Do you get some grace from a committee if that score gets a little bit out of whack because you're starting a backup quarterback on the road in his first start? So, you've got to take those things into consideration. The other side of this, though, is, and I don't know how big you think this is, the other side, Jim, of that availability report was Trevor Etienne.
That's right.
Out of this game.
Yep.
And by the way,
they already struggle to run it.
Georgia is 15th out of 16 in the SEC in running.
Yeah, I do think Nate Frazier, once he learns, pass pro, the nuances of the college game. Frazier from Compton is going to be really, really good. He's not ETN because he doesn't have that experience right now. Now, the good news for Tennessee is 9 games in, they have yet to give up more than 19 points in a game, which is incredible. The bad news is they have only scored 30-plus once in SEC play. Now, Carson Beck has thrown 12 picks over his last 6 games. He is the first SEC quarterback to throw that many picks in that few of games since 2020. That is disturbing.
Yeah, and I would just ask, or I would kind of echo what Brooks Alston, the film guy, said yesterday. Until Josh Heupel proves against Georgia his offense can do something, I'm going to keep picking Georgia against Tennessee.
I mean, it's a Friday where a lot of America is talking about a fight, right? What makes fight? Styles. And right now, Josh Heupel's style of offense and Kirby Smart's style of defense, they don't mesh up right now. They don't mesh up.
It's not working. It hasn't worked for Heupel yet.
Yeah. Well, Kirby has been in this spot 12 times. After a loss as a favorite, what do you think his record is in 12 games following a loss as the favorite?
I don't think he's lost back-to-back games.
Yeah, I would say 12-0.
So 11-1. I don't know when that loss is. Maybe you guys can help me with that.
I can't offhand. I'll try to think of it.
Yeah,
so this is...
Well, maybe here's what it was. Maybe it was 2016. And maybe he was coming off one of those losses and they were favored the next game.
Maybe so.
Probably what it was. But anyway, he's been really good in this spot.
Yeah. I don't know how this game plays because Georgia has so many deficiencies. But Tennessee winning on the road, it's just hard to imagine that. Twice before this, they've gone on the road and scored a combined 39 points this year. One of them, the loss at Arkansas. So they haven't done a lot offensively on the road this year. This is only their 3rd road game.
It's hard to find a path to victory. If I'm in Tennessee,
in the SEC, I should say.
In the SEC. Yeah. If I'm a Tennessee, well, the NC State game was neutral site,
right.
If I'm a Tennessee fan, here's where I'm hanging my hat. And here's this morning and tomorrow morning when I'm thinking about this game all day, here's what gives me hope. Georgia's offensive line is not great, and they struggled with a good front four against Ole Miss. And if I'm Tennessee, I don't think my front four takes second place to anybody. I think my front four is as good as anybody's in the country.
That's fair.
And that gives me hope. That gives me hope that I can force Beck to make the bad decisions he's been making. It gives me hope that I can completely take away what is already a bad run game and force Georgia to be super one-dimensional.
Yep.
Like that's what gives me hope in this game if I'm a Tennessee fan. Now, the other side of that is I'm looking at playing this game with a backup quarterback, and that is just so hard to do on the road in the SEC.
Gaston
Moore, yeah.
Walk-on, former walk-on.
Again, kid that came in against Alabama. I thought it was an odd decision by Heupel to let him throw right away. He does throw right away, and he throws a pick, as you might imagine. I just don't know how much faith you have in this guy on the road in Athens in such a big game.
No, look, if it was a computer science class, I would want Gaston to take that test for me. I don't want him to take the test to the Georgia defense.
Yeah.
I think this could be disastrous. I mean, we saw him throw the football. The first time he let go of it, it looked like a punt. I mean, basically, Alabama's secondary, and I forgot who picked it.
I think it was,
was it Malachi Moore?
I think it was Malachi Moore.
Yeah, because he had a nice return, and that was a point where Alabama could have gone up 14, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That is absolutely right.
Yeah, I think this is a disaster spot for Tennessee. I had dinner with a Tennessee guy last night. He's like, I think we win the game. I think this defense has confused Tennessee fans into believing they're an elite team, and I just don't think the offense is there, and I know the offense isn't there with the backup quarterback.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the biggest game in the country. Tomorrow night, in prime time, we'll be watching that one as we get ready for another weekend of college football. I heard you talk about, I was doing something else here, preparing for the next segment with Todd Fuhrman, but you said Carson Beck, 12 interceptions, 6 games. Did you say the other guy, only one other guy in Georgia history to do that?
No, he's the first SEC quarterback to throw 12 in 6 games since 2020. And I'm trying to, in 2020, who would that guy have been? We know it wasn't Kyle Trask. You know it wasn't Mac Jones.
I don't know, because that was the strike shortened year.
Yeah.
Was it the
strike short?
Not strike, but COVID. It was COVID.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm getting to this, by the way.
Yeah.
Carson Beck, 12 interceptions, 6 games. Only other Georgia quarterback to do that happens to be his offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Matt Corral is your answer to that, Lance. He threw 14 interceptions in 2020. Yeah,
I thought Corral was a pretty good quarterback back in the
well,
day.
he did throw 29 touchdowns, but 14
Like,
interceptions.
if I asked you guys who
That's right, short and COVID year.
Matt Corral's best against Jackson Dart's best.
Oh, well, hang on now. So what was the stat? 12 in 6 games?
Yeah, at least 12 in 6 games.
It's kind of a misleading stat because he threw 6 interceptions against Arkansas. Do you guys remember that game? Mm-hmm. 6 interceptions on the road against Arkansas.
Yeah, that does skew it a little bit.
Because we kept saying, how do you let him throw his 5th and then his 6th interception?
Right, and then 2 against Auburn the very next week. Then he didn't throw any for 3 weeks, and then the end of that 6-game window, he threw 5 at LSU. So his came in bunches, 6 and 5. Beck at least has not done that.
Yeah, that's what Landmine Believer is pointing out there. Andy says if Sampson gets 100 yards or more, the Vols will win this game. Dylan Sampson. It happens to be what Georgia's defense is good at, though.
And I'm glad he brings this up because I meant to bring this up. Now, Dylan Sampson's the first SEC player with a rushing touchdown in each of his first 9 games of a season since both Derrick Henry and Leonard Fournette did this in 2015. Dylan Sampson has been fantastic. But you guys, I would think, would agree with me that Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann, whether Nico plays or not, it's going to be, we're going to stop Sampson, and whoever that quarterback is, if they beat us, so be it.
Yeah,
but Sampson ain't going 100 yards tomorrow.
Nobody's been able to do that other than Oklahoma. That's the one team this year that has kept Dylan Sampson under 100 yards rushing in a single game, and that was 92. I mean, he was only 8 yards away from 100. But Oklahoma is the only team to hold Dylan Sampson under the century mark. He has had a tremendous year, including 20 touchdowns. The guy's just got a nose for the end zone, too. And they give it to him a lot when they're down there in the red zone, and he's able to find pay dirt.
All right, so that's the biggest game in the country. One other game we'll get to in this segment, part of our Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3. You can go play right now at nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. And listen, if you're new to the show or if you haven't played the Pick 3 at all or you haven't played since early in the season, it's not a season-long game. You can play just 1 week. You can play every other week, every week. Take some time off. Either way, doesn't matter. You just need to go 3-0 one time to get a ball in the bucket for the drawing at the end of the year. This year's grand prize, LT, $250 is the magic number.
Yeah, we're going to do $250 credit to our merch store, which I know a lot of you guys absolutely love. The hoodies, the hats, the T-shirts, and a $250 gift card to our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. So you can use it at any of those 11 Central Alabama locations.
And that's what I love about the gift card is that you can, like if I was going to be just selfish, I could go in by myself and have lunch basically for like 20 days in a row.
Yeah, that's probably what I would do with it.
Wearing next round gear.
Yeah. Watching the games
That's
at
right.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
It's a win-win.
That other game right now in our Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3 that I wanted to talk about is Missouri as they get ready to play South Carolina. I still can't believe Eli Drinkwitz thinks they're in the playoffs.
Oh, he's crazy.
Well, yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Well,
it's become a laughingstock. Like even Reese brought it up on the selection show the other night.
And you
They
saw
laughed
like
at it.
Klatt doesn't typically get pissed. Klatt seemed like pissy about it.
Yeah,
like I can't believe this Eli fella is saying this. Look, they're 4-0 in one possession games, so you got to give them a little credit there that they found a way to win these really tight games.
Oklahoma, Auburn, Vandy, and BC.
Yeah, so they have, in 3 of those games, they won in the final 2 minutes. But I just don't see it. South Carolina is the one team I don't think anybody wants to play right now because Sellers is still learning this game. And when you've got him and Rocket Sanders and their ability just to break one off at any point, I mean, there's a reason they've won 3 straight SEC games by a combined 36-12, by 24 points per game. And there is a reason they're a 13-point favorite right now against Missouri.
Ole Miss, it got away from them a little bit. LSU, they lost Sellers, I think, in the second quarter.
They did.
And then they only lost to Alabama. They had ball in hand a couple of times and only lost by 2. That Ole Miss loss, you sort of can explain that away now if you see how Ole Miss is.
Yeah, let me ask you, what team would you feel great going into Columbia right now in the SEC and saying, that is a surefire win?
Not a single team. Not Texas, not Georgia, not Alabama. Nobody.
Yeah,
there's not a single team.
Not a single team.
No.
Yeah. So if this was basketball, South Carolina would be that team that is peaking at the right time.
Correct.
They could go to the tournament and maybe win their way into the NCAA tournament and make a run.
I think they've been good all year, though. I just think the outcomes haven't supported that. You go back and watch that LSU game. That was a back-and-forth, up-and-down game. It really turned on what I think was a bad call on that blindside block on the quarterback. They probably win the game without that call. You look at the Alabama game. Did Alabama let them back in the game at the end of the half? Absolutely they did. But South Carolina kicked the door open once Alabama did that. They played right with Alabama and had ball in hand with a chance to win it after that onside kick. Really, the only head scratcher for them is Ole Miss. That's really the only team that has just dominated them.
And if Ole Miss may be.
It's a really good team. It's a
playoff team. They may end up
team.
being the best team in the league.
Yeah, I got asked yesterday from our friends Chip and Zay in Austin, who is the best team in the SEC? And I was like, I don't know, Ole Miss. Like, it was the first thing that came to mind just because we saw the beatdown they put on Georgia.
They wanted you to say Texas, though, right?
Probably. I told them Texas is in. With all that said, like, if you went back, I think that was Sellers' third or fourth start in college football, and that's not a defense you want to make your third or fourth start against.
Yeah.
And offensively, they just couldn't do anything that day. But I do think that is, that's
a good football team.
One of those dangerous. Yeah, really dangerous teams.
To answer Lance's question, I'll go with the entire country, not just the SEC, the entire country. Who am I comfortable walking to Columbia with? Nobody.
Yeah, like if Oregon rolled in there, I think Oregon would be a 5.5-point favorite, and I would be all over South Carolina.
Yeah, Ohio State, Oregon, anybody that waltzes in there is in for a fight, an absolute fight.
MyBookie.ag chat room, David says, what would the line be, LT, if Alabama was at South Carolina this weekend and then do Texas at South Carolina?
Yeah, I think about the same. I just said I think Oregon would be about a 4.5-point favorite, which, by the way, that the projections and I'll get back to Alabama in a second, but I'm bringing Alabama up with this, and I'm watching Indiana on one of our screens right here. When the college football playoff rankings went out and the matchups went out, it was Alabama in Bloomington taking on Indiana. And I said I think that number would be 9.5. Vegas has come back, and they said they put an early number on that line, and they said Alabama 7.5 on the road at Indiana. So a little bit lower than I thought. But I think if they played in South Carolina, I think right there with Oregon, they'd be a 4.5, anywhere from 4.5 to 6.
So
the same with Texas.
Any of your top teams, Oregon, Ohio State, Texas.
Nobody more than a touchdown.
Penn State, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Miami, Alabama, just through the rankings there, they'd all be about 4.5, 5,
4.5 to 6, yeah.
And not to mention the fact if it's a night game at Williams-Brice, just ask Texas A&M about that. That's a difficult place to play.
Yeah, man, I give Shane Beamer, he is going to get unless he got an extension last year, which I don't think he did because wasn't it 2 years ago his first year was the better year?
Yeah, I think he'll get one this year.
He should.
Our show being brought to you by our friends at Hydra Live, the wonderful folks at Hydra Live. They're getting you ready for a weekend, or maybe they can help you coming off a big weekend.
Yeah, look, I go on the front end. If you've got a big weekend coming up, whether you're heading to New Orleans, you're flying to New York for the weekend, whatever it is, get hydrated properly. Our friends at Hydra Live Therapy, they can do it. IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, now weight loss therapy, all under one roof. 2 locations in Birmingham, Homewood, Highway 119 in Greystone, also a Tuscaloosa location. When you're in one of those locations, mention the next round. You're going to get 20% off all the great services. Ask about memberships as well. For more information and to book an appointment online, hydralivetherapy.com.
All right, so when we come back, we will go to Todd Fuhrman, who joins us from Las Vegas. He'll be with us, and I think Keith tells you, Brownie, he's 7-1 and is off the radar games.
That may be correct. I was trying to remember who was it last week.
Yeah. It was West Virginia because he was going to go North Texas. I saved him.
You did. You saved him a loss. Lance did North Texas. He said, since Lance brought that one up, I'll change. You're right. He did go West Virginia, who won outright going away.
Yeah, so that's very interesting. We'll get to Fuhrman from Vegas. Coming up on the other side, don't forget the Tyson-Jake Paul fight is tonight. It starts streaming at in the 7 to 8 o'clock window there on Netflix, and the fight LT projecting shortly after 9 o'clock for that. Big win last night for the Philadelphia Eagles over Washington. Another big week ahead in the NFL on Sunday and Monday. You can get your plays at lanceslock.com. All brought to you from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studio. This is the Next Round.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today. If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
So many great college football games to talk to Todd Fuhrman about. We're about to get to him. The show being brought to you in part today by our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa. If Fuhrman was in town, we'd be like, man, you need to relax. Go over to Woodhouse on us.
Yeah, great place. Look, you're sitting there thinking about we're less than 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving, so you know that the Christmas season will be here before you can even blink. You need to figure out the great gift for the wife or girlfriend. How about the Woodhouse Day Spa? And very simple. You can order those gift cards 24/7 online and then let her choose, because at the Woodhouse Day Spa, they've got something for everyone. She can choose from a menu of over 70 great options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Again, order that special person gift online 24/7. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. That's Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. or stop into the Summit Shopping Centers. Tell Stewart and the fine folks up there at the Next Round sent you.
All right, bettheboardpodcast.com is where you find him all the time. bettheboardpodcast.com. He is Todd Fuhrman, and he is also on social media at Todd Fuhrman. And right now he's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Fuhrman? How are you today?
I am doing well, gentlemen. And one thing before we start breaking down this week's slate, normally losses don't linger when you're in this racket as long as I've been doing it, and I'm sure LT can say the same. Watching that Army-North Texas game unfold for listeners last week was arguably one of the more painful things to see transpire with Chandler Morris's poor decision-making in the red zone. So hoping for a little bit more late-game variance to smile upon us this week.
Yeah, and for me, that number was interesting because I gave it out on Friday night on my side, and I had to give it out at 3.5 because of the unknown with Bryson Daly, and then he plays, it goes all the way back up to 6, and there were so many opportunities for North Texas to cover the 6, not necessarily to win the game like you and I thought if Dwayne Coleman would have been playing in that game, but that was one of the more frustrating, perfect under if you play the under there, because North Texas, as you said, could do nothing in the red zone.
Yeah, and full disclosure here, guys, when we broke that game down, I was working under the information that had come across my desk that Daly wasn't going to go. And even when he did go, you tell me Army scores 14 points in that game, and we're taking a number 3.5 or better there with an underdog in a game where the total is in the mid-60s. That's the kind of scenario that's going to win more often than not. And it's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately, when you go to the red zone 3 times, come away with 0 points in those trips with 2 picks and a touchdown that was overturned that I still can't quite figure out why it was the case.
Texas-Arkansas gets us going on a Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Central on ABC. And on paper, this looks Texas all day long. Arkansas had their moment against Tennessee. But there's something bred into the DNA in Arkansas that they hate Texas so much back to the Southwest Conference days. The last time Texas was in Fayetteville, they got their butts kicked. What do you make of this game? There seems to be a changing points spread line out there on this game.
You know, first time, Dunaway, these programs will play as members of the same conference since 1991 after they played 60 straight seasons from 1932 to 1991, and I'm sure that was before the time of a lot of the listeners that are tuning in, listening to us each week. Texas is a team, for me, that has done what's been asked of them, but you dig into Texas's resume and you look at some of the opposing offenses that they've faced. The schedule leaves a lot to be desired from an SEC standpoint. Non-conference-wise, they weren't really pushed, and the one time they had to kind of step up in class, we saw Georgia stymie them on the defensive side. In this game, I do think Texas gets what they want offensively. We saw Arkansas secondary a few weeks ago give up 3 60-plus yard touchdown passes to Ole Miss, and Texas can operate through the air with a similar ruthless efficiency. But on the flip side, Arkansas having multiple weeks to prepare, a healthier, at least what we think will be a healthier Taylon Green and Jaquindon Jackson, gives them the kind of key cogs to keep this game competitive. The problem is we sit here on a Friday and try and advocate for a live underdog. You know, this number originally opened north of 2 touchdowns like you alluded to, and you're kind of in no man's land at 11.5. The only way that I would tell people if they still wanted to get a piece of Arkansas in this game would be to shop around and see if they're able to get the Hogs +7 in the first half, hoping that Bobby Petrino and company have schemed something up, and you're going to see Arkansas's best offensive plays scripted early in this contest.
Todd Fuhrman is with us, bettheboardpodcast.com. That's bettheboardpodcast.com. At Todd Fuhrman on social media. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Speaking of quarterback health, what is the Vegas opinion on Nico at Tennessee? Still listed as questionable, but now Tennessee is at least saying it is concussion protocol type stuff.
So multiple friends of your fine program who shall remain nameless with ties to Tennessee have assured me throughout the course of the week that Nico would indeed be under center for this game, given everything that's at stake for Tennessee. Now, I'm not necessarily sure for the Vols that's a good thing, given what we've seen from Nico as far as being an erratic passer for long stretches this season. But the Vols are dinged up at other spots as well, and I think those injuries are the ones that are flying under the radar a little bit. You know, Dante Thornton has dealt with injuries throughout the course of the season. You know, Dylan Sampson has started to have some fumbling issues, putting the ball on the carpet once in each of the last 3 games, and he got rolled up on pretty good last week against Mississippi State. Did finish the game, but looked to lack some of that burst. For Tennessee to be successful here, it's got to boil down to that defensive line and being as disruptive as what we saw from Ole Miss against this Georgia offensive line. If Tennessee can't get stops and force Carson Beck into known passing situations, even with the healthy Nico, I'm just not sure Tennessee can move the football consistently enough. And guys, we've seen very similar point spreads in this rivalry each of the last 2 years. I mean, it was last season people advocating for Tennessee. Georgia goes on the road to Neyland Stadium, wins the game 38-10. And a couple of years ago, it was a similar spot. Georgia laying 9.5. They end up winning the game in workmanlike fashion, 27-13. So this is a little bit of buyer beware. It will be one of the most public underdogs that we'll see of the weekend because the public remembers what they saw last. And I would have advocated for going under the total if we did this hit on Wednesday. But now as we're at 46.5, 47, I think a lot of the value has been zapped there. I do think points at a premium, though, for two offenses really struggling to string together consistent drives.
Furman, South Carolina has turned into a money tree, and I didn't know what they were going to do with this number because Missouri is ranked still. Missouri is 4-0 in these one-possession games, and Eli Drinkwitz, we laughed about this a little bit ago, still believes that they're in the college football playoff hunt. But South Carolina, their last three SEC wins by a combined or an average of 36-12, they've completely dominated. I am surprised the number is this high. It wouldn't surprise me if South Carolina wins the game by 21 plus, but it is a robust number against a ranked team.
And I think Eli still actually believes that he may have Brady Cook out there, despite what the betting market is telling us right about now. And that's part of the reason that you're looking at the Gamecocks such a heavy favorite in this particular spot. Number did open as low as 12 earlier in the week with the total substantially higher as well in that 44.5, 45 range. What we've seen in the last 24 to 36 hours is those numbers moving in harmony with each other, suggesting that South Carolina is going to have to encounter the Drew Pine experience. Don't tell that to Oklahoma fans who had to watch Drew Pine march Missouri 80 yards in the waning moments of that game to somehow snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. You mentioned South Carolina and what they've done in recent weeks. If Missouri was healthy here, the Tigers would be a live underdog because Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Vanderbilt, in my opinion, don't provide some of that dynamic passing attack that Missouri could. But with Pine under center, it's South Carolina or pass. The problem is at 2 touchdowns right now, you may get a little bit of a letdown spot for South Carolina, and the total, again, has been beaten up some. So a very real professional money come in on this first half under ticket at 23 when it was widely available yesterday.
Utah, Colorado, 11 o'clock on Fox, and it just feels like Utah to me did everything they possibly could do to win that rivalry game last week. Got to be out of gas. This feels like a Deion Sanders, Colorado boat race here.
And you know what? Unfortunately, Dunaway, as much as I like to disagree with you when you make some of these points, I would echo a lot of those same sentiments here. I think Utah's game of the season was last week under the bright lights. Rice-Eccles build a 21-10 lead at the half against BYU, have a chance to knock your most hated rival from the ranks of the unbeaten, and you're done in late in the game with a holding penalty that I actually think was a penalty, unlike Utah's AD. And look, you can't sugarcoat the fact that Utah did not score a single point in the second half of that game. In steps a Colorado team, much more dynamic on the offensive side that should be able to play a little bit of pitch and catch. Utah down one of its top offensive weapons, Brant Keefe, lost for the season, and it feels like Utah will kind of limp this one to the finish line. I'm not running to lay the 11.5 with Colorado, but I would want no part of Utah in this spot. I think there'll be a better chance to fade Colorado in the coming weeks.
Todd Fuhrman is with us, bettheboardpodcast.com, bettheboardpodcast.com, and you can also follow him on social media at Todd Fuhrman. His under the radar pick coming up. LSU, believe it or not, in a bunch of teams with 2 losses and a tie, LSU's got one of the better paths to the SEC championship game, which would then give them 60 minutes for a bye. That said, they're only a 4-point favorite at Florida. What do you see in this game?
Let's hope for the sake of the College Football Playoff Committee that LSU does not go on to win the SEC title. And I know that's not what LSU fans want to hear, but I've seen enough of the Tigers so far this season to know exactly where they should be. And it's a fringe playoff team, not one being included as one of the best 12 in the country. This is an interesting number here with LSU just a short favorite in this spot. We did start to see some Florida money enter yesterday with the news that DJ Lagway will indeed be under center for the Gators. And for LSU, look, you go through the resume and what they've been able to accomplish this season. They've taken care of what I would call inferior foes as short road favorites in the past. The problem for me is that game wasn't just a loss against Alabama. That was you have 2 weeks to prepare to figure out what you did incorrectly to slow down Jalen Milroe as a runner. And now it's back-to-back losses in as many games for LSU. I wouldn't be shocked if it turned into 3 in a row, but I don't know if I'd be running to grab Florida with the points because I do think this is a high variance type game. I might be more inclined to try and take a shot with Florida on the money line, that if they're the right side, they can win this game outright. So to grab them plus $1.70 and hope that Billy Napier has turned this game into one of the most important on the entire schedule, because Florida wins this game, you now have a path to getting bowl eligible with Florida State in the regular season finale, and that, in my opinion, would be a massive win for a Gators team who came into the regular season with their win total set at 5.
Because I brought up South Carolina, I'm going to bring up the ACC version of South Carolina, and that's Louisville. Louisville's a really good team. I've gotten to the point in life where I don't mind laying a big number on the road. Louisville's laying 3 touchdowns, minus 20.5 on the farm. Stanford has lost 6 straight up and 6 straight against the spread. Do you mind laying the big numbers on the road?
It's big, and I think when you look at the Stanford Cardinal and the way they've been priced out, you mentioned it. I mean, they haven't done favors for anybody at the betting window. And typically when these ATS losing streaks get to be this long, teams are extremely undervalued, and I think that's kind of what we have here. For me, if it got to 21, I would probably be forced to bet Stanford more as a value proposition than anything else, knowing that both of these teams coming off the bye, and you go through what Stanford has had to go through in their first foray into the ACC. It's more or less been a murderer's row, and you saw them kind of limp to the end of that stretch. I mean, they started it with Clemson, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame, and SMU. Now, loss against Wake Forest and NC State aren't great, but you talk about a team that had played so many games in a row, having a bye way back in week 2 against Cal Poly, that if Stanford has anything, you're going to see it on full display. Not calling for the outright win, but I do think it's a big number for a Louisville team that still has Pittsburgh and Kentucky on deck. I think Louisville wins, but Stanford may show a little bit better than what we've seen in recent weeks.
I don't understand the number. Oregon and Wisconsin, 6:30 on NBC. I know the helmet looks like it's a close game, but this Wisconsin team has been dominated by a couple of elite teams. Their win streak was against average or below average teams, actually bad teams. Oregon seems to be a complete football team. Why is this number so small? Why is it not more Oregon?
And, and this is a number that's actually shortened a little bit. You could have had Wisconsin as a 14-point underdog earlier, but we've seen Wisconsin take money in a lot of weeks in a row. I mean, they took money as a home underdog against Penn State, came up short in that game. They took money against Iowa and really floundered in that particular spot. So they have been a betting darling from some of the more influential groups that are out there, but they have not rewarded them at the window. I think when you're looking at Oregon's full body of work, this is a team who has their aspirations set, not just on winning the conference, but making a deep run in the college football playoff. And what we've seen from Dan Lanning is he hasn't put his foot to the accelerator to win a lot of these games by margin over the last handful of weeks. 35-0 at Purdue on a Friday night, very workmanlike. Oregon probably could have won that by 50. Illinois, they stopped scoring in the second half. You need to sweat to get that game across the finish, and the same can be said for the last couple of weeks against Michigan and Maryland, where it hasn't been about getting Dylan Gabriel those gaudy stats that would, in my opinion, make him the clear-cut Heisman frontrunner if they've tried to pad those numbers. Camp Randall at night can be a difficult place to play, relatively speaking. I mean, this would be Oregon's third trip since the middle of October across multiple time zones, so you wonder what they have left in the tank. I just can't get to Wisconsin shorter than 2 touchdowns here, because if Oregon wants to make a statement on national TV and let Gabriel throw it around the yard, there's no reason for me to believe that they can't torment Wisconsin's defense, even with the Badgers coming in as the more well-rested side.
All right, before we get Fuhrman's thoughts on tonight's fight, let's get the under-the-radar play for him. The audience is giving you credit, not for a North Texas loss, but for a West Virginia win. Lance brought up the North Texas game. You said that was going to be it, but I'll give you another one. You gave your opinion. So however the audience wants to score it, he's either got 1 loss or 2 losses, but he also gave you a win last week. So.
We can call it 1-1 if we want for
1-1.
official record keeping. I appreciate the audience being very liberal with all that, but should have been 2-0. Let's put it that way.
All right. So where are we going this week for the end of the radar?
So we are going to a place a stone's throw away from you guys, and I can hold someone in the Brown family accountable if it doesn't go the way that I'm going to draw it up. Backing the South Alabama Jaguars plus the 7.5 against the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. When you look at Louisiana this year, they come in white hot, very much in control of their own Sun Belt destiny, but also having the luxury of being able to drop a game. And this time of year, when I'm looking for some of these games that aren't going to be the marquee matchups, I want to find a team that's listed as an underdog that, in my opinion, has a better ground game, and that's exactly what you have with South Alabama in this spot, matching up against the Louisiana Raging Cajuns defense that's outside the top 120 from an EPA per rush standpoint. You look at some of the underlying numbers, they've struggled with the explosive ground game, and I think South Alabama, having multiple weeks to prepare for this game, is going to be able to try and put together a game plan and keep things competitive like they have done in most of these Sun Belt games. Look for Kentrell Bullock and Gio Lopez to have big games on the ground. I'll take South Alabama plus the 7.5 in what we'll call the Brownie special.
I am already heavily invested in South Alabama. Fuhrman is giving you an opportunity to invest in the Jags as well. So there you go. Fuhrman's under the radar.
Full disclosure here, Brownie, I will not have a tuition payment, though, on this game. So the university gets a hell of a lot more money from you every 6 months than it gets from me.
Yeah, thankfully, my daughter got her mom's brains, not mine, so they get less than they get from some.
Well, that's a good thing then. So that's all we look for then. She gets her smarts from the right side of the family.
That's right. That is correct.
And her looks, if anybody needs to say that.
There's zero doubt about that.
I don't know if that needs to be said. I don't want to leave that hanging out there.
No, 100%. She gets all the good stuff from my wife.
Yeah.
Any other games, guys, that you wanted to hit on real quick?
No.
I wasn't sure.
No.
I mean, there are some big games in the NFL this week, and I know we kind of neglect the NFL when we talk to you because there's so much college action going on. Going back to last night, Dan Quinn's decision to go for it on fourth down. I know this has become a trend with him. We all talked about it in the first segment today. We kind of agreed, like, on the road in that situation, keep control of the game, put a little more pressure back on the Eagles. I backed the Commanders. I was completely wrong on that game. Where were you on that?
I am completely of the same mindset that I am all about aggression when it comes to trying to be able to control the game. But given the yips that we've seen from Jake Elliott, I think it takes the field goal out of the equation. So if you're able to kick there and take the lead, Philadelphia has to be a little bit more aggressive than they otherwise would be inclined to do. But I also will say that we're starting to see some concerning things with the Commanders, and while their schedule lightens up a little bit, Cliff Kingsbury, when he was the head coach at Arizona and also during his time at Texas Tech, as you guys know all too well, as the season progressed, he didn't always make the right adjustments and think outside the box. So as there's more and more film, let's see what it looks like for Jaden Daniels and if there are opportunities to bet against the Commanders or maybe look to try and play under their total in some of these games, especially when they get a healthy Marshawn Lattimore back to anchor that secondary.
A very underrated game. Bengals at the Chargers. Chargers white hot as well. Games flying under. Their defense has been completely dominant, and Justin Herbert getting a little bit more of a feel with Harbaugh as the head coach. Jesse Minter, obviously Michigan misses him as well, the defense coordinator now for the Chargers, but Cincinnati holding on to their playoff lives. They're catching 1.5 on the road in SoFi. That's a great under-the-radar game.
Oh, it's going to be a phenomenal watch on Sunday night because I think both of these teams have a lot of questions to answer. We look at the win-loss record for the Chargers, and it suggests everything is going well. But you dig into the opposing offenses that the Chargers have faced, and I have them facing the worst strength of opposing offense schedule in the entire league. Here comes a Bengals team that may have the services of Orlando Brown and T. Higgins back in the mix off of that mini bye. You mentioned Jesse Minter and what he's done. I think the Chargers are doing more with less in terms of personnel on that side of the ball, and they are going to be a real problem for the rest of the league offensively, given how much progression we have seen from Herbert in just a very short period of time. Once they start adding weapons around him, we know that they've built in the trenches the right way along the offensive line, and this is a Chargers team that I'd be looking to buy stock in, maybe not for this season because I think their ceiling is capped, but going forward for sure. But in this game, a strong lean towards the Bengals as a short road underdog. I think they know their season is hanging in the balance, and who could blame the Chargers even if playing in prime time? They didn't have one eye trained on the Hard Bowl that'll take place next Monday night.
All right, before you go, Fuhrman, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson tonight in Dallas. It is currently at mybookie.ag minus 222, excuse me. Jake Paul minus 222, over under 5.5 rounds. What are your thoughts on tonight's fight?
So if you believe in the legitimacy of this fight, which should always come with the important caveat here, the number tells us everything we need to know, that people are going to want to try and back Mike Tyson because they remember Iron Mike in his prime, when he was in pristine physical condition. But into his late 50s, if Iron Mike can't land a knockout punch early, I think the longer the fight goes, Jake Paul ends up getting the edge. And what we're starting to see in the market today, my bookie actually was one of the shorter prices that are out there. Some of the other bigger offshore shops are drifting in that 260, 270 range. I've spoken to a couple of guys in town, and as LT knows, there is one-way traffic on this particular fight. It is going to be all about them rooting for Mr. Paul in the ring tonight. And while I won't quite call it as decided an advantage as Floyd Mayweather against Conor McGregor when we saw that fight unfold, this will be the true separation of the pros versus Joes. So I think you have to try and look towards the favorite instead of taking what appears, at least on the surface, to be an attractive price tag.
Yeah, I'm giving this out tonight, but I mean, I already said it earlier in the week. I think this is Jake Paul, TKO in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. If Tyson gets him, it's got to be in the first round or maybe early second. I agree with you 100%.
Yep, I think that's how it goes. And the longer the fight, takes a shape of its own, that you're going to see Jake Paul continue to grow into it. It's interesting, though, that this is a sanctioned fight, and we're going 2-minute rounds, upwards of 8. The over-under sits at 5.5, and I wouldn't be surprised if it went more than 5.5 to try and keep fans engaged. But again, these things always come with the caveat of how legitimate are they, and sometimes the betting market tips its hand before anybody else knows what's really going to transpire.
All right, bettheboardpodcast.com. That's where you get it all from Fuhrman. Bettheboardpodcast.com and at Todd Fuhrman on social media. Fuhrman, thank you very much, man. Enjoy the weekend.
Always a pleasure, gentlemen. Best of luck at the window this week.
Thanks, buddy. You too. Fuhrman with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
And being brought to you by our friends at MyBookie, where you can play that fight in all the games of Browning.
Minus 222. That's that number's up even from the start of the show. So
well, it was high as minus 350 last week.
So could have gotten value last week. Tonight in college football, Washington -4 at home against UCLA. Dunaway's special here. UTSA now a 1-point home favorite. Wasn't North Texas a 1-point road favorite when you brought this up?
It was.
It's flipped all the way around, Jim. Colorado State -9.5 against Wyoming, and Arizona -2 at home against Houston. You can play all those games. Bama, Purdue, where Alabama's a 2.5-point favorite on the road. The NFL games, the fight, everything. Right there at mybookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at mybookie.ag, and you get double your initial deposit. You make your deposit. They double that at mybookie.ag when you use code NEXTROUND. Code NEXTROUND. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. mybookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND.
And our friends at New York Butcher Shop getting you ready for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, going to pick up a couple of steaks for Jack and his buddies tonight to watch the fight from our man Jim. Did it on Monday. Fantastic food from the fresh meat, specialty items, deli sandwiches, smoked meats, including your turkey for Thanksgiving, less than 2 weeks away. Reservations highly recommended, as they sold out of these turkeys each and every year. They could smoke or brine them for you. Fantastic stuff from our friend at the New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well done service. 2 locations. Get in, see Jim and that great staff. Tell them the next round sent you.
Tyler, we're going to do 4 downs right here if you want to get that ready. Brought to you by Slice. Before you tell us about Slice, though, Dave Portnoy of Barstool, who likes to gamble on these major events, says there is no shot Jake Paul loses this farce of a fight. His big money, 6 figures, is on Jake Paul to win the fight.
Yeah, it should be a winner. I know it's going to be difficult for people with our generation to pull against Tyson, especially this YouTuber that's come onto the scene over the last decade. But, I mean, this just isn't realistic when you're talking 58-27 and the way Jake Paul trains.
I mean, Fuhrman twice in that answer basically questioned the legitimacy of this entire fight.
But I told you, before we had Fuhrman on, I told you guys in break, what wouldn't question that is if Mike Tyson is going to get Jake Paul, knocks him out in the first round, he shits on the canvas, everybody would be like, that's the real deal.
That was a legitimate fight.
That was it.
Wish I had bet on Tyson at that point.
Remember Alabama basketball 2.5-point favorite at Purdue tonight. We talked about that in the first segment. Big showdown of 2 Final Four teams from last year's NCAA tournament. 4 downs brought to you by our friends at Slice LT.
Yeah, 5 great locations for lunch or dinner. If you want to take the family out, get together with friends, watch some of the games, sit at that bar at any of those 5 locations. Fantastic. Local pizza, local ingredients, from the soul pie to the hot mama. You're going to love it. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
More realistic upset, Wisconsin over Oregon or Virginia over Notre Dame?
Virginia over Notre Dame for me. I know Wisconsin's at home. Wisconsin's name brand is better. I just think Virginia's playing closer to Notre Dame level lately than Wisconsin is playing closer to Oregon's level. I just don't understand this Wisconsin number. I've got it written down here. Their wins, that 3-game win streak was against Purdue, Rutgers, and Northwestern. Those teams are 4-14 combined in Big Ten play. And they've lost by 32 to Alabama, 17 to USC, 15 to Penn State. Oregon's really good. I think they killed the Badgers.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. The USC game, they were up double digits at halftime. Complete meltdown from Wisconsin on the road in the second half against USC. And against Penn State, they're leading midway through the third, and they throw that pick six. So I think Wisconsin's been right there. I think Wisconsin is a better opportunity. I think Virginia gets run.
The only reason you would say Virginia is you've seen Marcus Freeman do this numerous times with these really, really big underdogs come in and beat them.
Well, he's
generally that's like a MAC team. It's not an ACC team.
So they're 40-5 since they started to play these abbreviated ACC schedules against ACC teams in 2017.
Right.
But you're right. Marcus Freeman has lost as a 14-plus point favorite 3 times. Notre Dame only did that 3 times between 1998 and 2021.
Wow.
Marcus Freeman doubles the top 25 wins of Brian Kelly, of Lincoln Riley. But like you said, Brown, Virginia's not a top 25 team. These are the kind these are the kind of teams he struggles with at home.
Second down.
More realistic upset. Arkansas at home over the Texas Longhorns, or Tennessee on the road over Georgia.
This number starts dipping with Arkansas and Texas. Tells me that the smart guys know a little bit something about Arkansas. I think I would.
The availability of the quarterback being cleared up for Arkansas helps a lot.
Yeah, I think I would go Arkansas here. I think I would say that's the more likely upset than Tennessee winning at Georgia.
I have a feeling that's the correct answer. I'm going to go with that as well.
Yeah, I think so. You look at the last 7 matchups between these old Southwest rivals, and Arkansas has been really good. Texas 2-5 straight up over the last 7, and only 1-6 against the number. Arkansas has the 5th total offense, 5th nationally right now in total offense under Bobby Petrino. So when Taylor Green is cooking, that offense can be pretty dynamic.
Third down.
More total touchdowns Saturday. Peyton Thorne or Ty Simpson?
This is a tough one.
Tough.
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, I'm not going to pretend like I've done a whole lot of studying on Mercer. These games just struggle to get my attention. Again, if you're going to play an FCS team, you play the worst one possible.
Oh, by the way, I'm looking at this. CBS has listed a number on Bama Mercer. What do you think it is?
Well, you said 44.5. Yeah. You regretted that, said you would go 38.
I think it's 42.5.
They hit right in the middle at 41.5.
41.5. So this is a decent FCS team, a top 10 FCS team.
Number 7 team in the country, yeah. The best team not in the Dakotas or Montana.
Wherever that is. I think I would say Thorne. I think I would say Thorne.
I'll say Thorne 3-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go
Fourth down.
Who'd you go with?
Simpson.
Simpson? Okay.
I think he'll get a full second half. Chad Kroger, 50 years old, the front man for everyone's favorite Nickelback.
Oh, I was going to say I love his grocery stores.
Carl Anthony Towns,
Got your card?
29 years old today. Ultimately better career, Chad Kroger or Carl Anthony Towns?
Yes, I'll go Carl Anthony Towns. I haven't paid very much attention to his NBA career. I pay far more attention to his college career.
He's now with the Knicks.
Yep.
Scored 44 the other night and a great comeback by my New York Knicks, only to lose the game by 3.
Yeah, I mean, he is
we seem to be worse with him.
We'll call it somewhat of a defensive liability. Your Knicks a healthy 9.5-point favorite tonight, but he's averaging 27 and 12.
Yep.
I mean, the guy puts up monster numbers and he gets paid a lot of money. You just wonder, like, how is Nickelback going to be remembered?
Well, they became a punchline, and I don't know if that's fortunate or unfortunate for them. Yeah. Like, would you rather be a punchline or forgotten? I'd at least rather be a punchline.
I think it's coming back around.
Punchline, because think of how many bands that sound very similar to Nickelback are just not mentioned today.
Yeah,
never
that's a
played
great point.
today.
Well, you know what? Nickelback's coming. I heard June Jam, they're already promoting it. Which, not June Jam, what is it called? Rock the South.
Rock the South.
But that is in June, right?
July.
Maybe. June or July. It's in the summer.
I heard Kid Rock, Hank Williams Jr., Nickelback, Three Doors Down. So they're more of a legit rock fest. But I watched the documentary, much like most documentaries. First hour was really good on Nickelback. I mean, these guys are talented, and I do think because so many people hated them for so long, I think they are whipping back around. I told you guys, Maddie's brother was at Stagecoach and said Eric Church was on stage, another stage when Nickelback hit it. Everybody left church to go see Nickelback because it's become the other way around.
Yeah. It's like seeing Creed now. They've had a big resurgence.
Who again? I talked
Creed.
about Creed.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Creed guy.
I'm not either. I'm going to go Karl Anthony Towns with all that said.
Yeah. I'll go with you just in case.
Yeah. Just in case.
Yeah.
In case we're ever questioned
if I'm wrong, at least I did it with LT. That's 4 Downs brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, 5 great locations. Stop in for lunch or dinner. Get in and see the Bajaga Brothers, created by the late Jeff. His brothers Chris and Jason continue to celebrate his legacy. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
Hey, before LT tells us about our friends at Inverness Country Club, I did want to point out that the Tampa Bay Rays will not play in Tropicana Field in 2025, my favorite team. But they are going to do the suggestion I said, play at the Yankees spring training site, Steinbrenner Field, which is right across the street from where the Buccaneers play their football games, Raymond James Stadium. Steinbrenner Stadium, about 12,000 seats. Can bring in some other portable seating there, get up to 16,000, I think would be a good number, because that's what the Rays averaged last year was 16,000. Don't need a huge stadium. Rainouts become a possibility.
Massive issue, yeah.
So look for a lot of doubleheaders on sunny days in Tampa. Heat becomes a problem there as well throughout the summer. But there you go. That's where Tampa will play. The Yankees spring training site right there for the Tampa Bay Rays. All right, Inverness Country Club to break. When we come back, we'll either do Andy Staples or get to our headlines.
Maybe you relocated to retired. Inverness is a great place to network. They've got memberships that fit everyone. Find your sense of community at Inverness Country Club, where the best days happen, from the social membership to the golf membership, anything in between, childcare, massive plus. I had this conversation with somebody yesterday that just recently had brunch there a couple of Sundays ago. People love the childcare because you can go have yourself a day on the court or course with the wife, with friends, and you know your kid is safe right there on site. To take a tour of this unbelievable club, ICCalabama.com. Make sure you tell Aaron and all the fine folks in the Inverness Country Club the guys from the next round sent you. Again, ICCalabama.com.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It is the will to prepare to win." Hi, I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryant Bank, and I can tell you that our Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that is right for you. At Bryant Bank, we specialize in community banking and offer personal and business loans, checking and savings account, mobile banking, and treasury management services. Stop by one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama to find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Our friends at Milo's Hamburger invites you to join them in the fight against hunger in our local communities by bringing non-perishable food items to your local Milo's, including canned goods. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, Milo's will give you a free drink. Together, we can make a difference.
You can't wait for college football talk every Monday, so we don't make you wait. Ryan Brown here for The Next Round. You can catch ESPN's Tom Luganville with Jim Dunaway on Monday Morning Live at 7 a.m. I'm with Brandon Marcello on the Middle 8 at 8 after The Next Round. Hear from Alabama coach Kalen DeBoer and Auburn coach Hugh Freeze. After the coaches talk, Fox Sports analyst Brock Huard joins Lance Taylor for Unlocked at 1 o'clock. All college football, all day Monday, anywhere you get The Next Round.
Back with you on The Next Round, getting ready for this massive football weekend. In our area, the state of Alabama, high school football playoffs. Melton, is this round two, week two, round two of the playoffs this week? So it starts to get juicy now to the good stuff, and then really the next week. So good luck to all the teams that are still out there and playing this weekend. We'll get some sound as well from Rhett Lashleaf, Steve Sarkisian, Shane Beamer, and Deion Sanders in this segment. But the show brought to you by our friends at Milo's. Milo's burgers, man, they're the best.
Yeah, can you name something better than a Milo's burger? Brown, can you name that?
Well, I mean, we've said 100 burgers. We've said a Milo's burger bar for, your great office parties and things like that.
How about their French fries?
Oh, their French fries are good. And dip them in that. Do you dip them in the Milo sauce, or do you get like the Boom Boom sauce or something like that?
Oh, I dip them in the Milo sauce.
I do too. Yeah. That is such a good.
We've got a spicy announcement coming up from Milo's starting next week, which we will give you. But one thing better than a Milo's burger is 24 free Milo's burgers. Milo's giving away catered meal for up to 24 guests. That's right, 24 of your closest friends, coworkers, or family could be chowing down on Milo's favorites. And the best part, it is free. For your chance to win, head to miloshamburgers.com/catering-contest. Enter today. That is miloshamburgers.com/catering-contest. So whether you're feeding a few or a whole crew, Milo's has got you covered. Don't wait. Enter now. Maybe they'll be serving you and 23 of your lucky friends soon. Stay saucy.
So it's free?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll register and I get it free. That's a heck of a deal.
I mean, imagine having
I'm going to pretend like I paid
all
for it.
your buddies over watching a college football Saturday and everybody's eating free Milo.
That's right. Now I'm going to pretend like I paid for it. Guys, y'all enjoy this.
This is on me, man.
Yeah, it's on me.
Hey, good week at work this week.
That's right. Y'all enjoy this one, all right?
Brown Bandit finally came through. There's the free burgers.
Yeah, you'll starve to death on the Brown Bandit.
Tyler, let's hit the big button, and then he's going to tell us about McCurry. We got a couple of newspapers that have some thoughts on how the game's going to turn out this weekend. Hit it, man.
The College Football Spotlight.
Like the game's already been played. Monday's headlines today.
All the difficult to find cars, trucks, SUVs, vans, they're right there at McCurry Van and Car Rental. If you need one, hit these North Alabama locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, Coleman on 2nd Avenue Northwest, and Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. Call and reserve your rental today, 256-559-1003. That's 256-559-1003. 1003 or MickCurryRentals.com. That is MickCurryRentals.com. Me first?
No, we'll start with mine.
Okay, Jimmy D first.
I'm sure yours is better.
I have no idea.
Okay, we'll start with mine. It's from the SEC Today. Here's a little ditty. There's a lot of ditty conversation going on out there. It's 3 stories. Here's a little ditty. Freeze goes young. Omar drugged and caged.
Oh, no. No, that's no good.
It's very, very ditty-like.
Yes.
Eli hallucinating on playoffs.
Yes, he's still alive.
Here's a little ditty. Yeah. Oh, traffic at the bottom. Atlanta 2-loss logjam as predicted by Lance Stradamus.
Lance Stradamus had that one in the preseason.
You guys do believe that's going to happen, right?
100% it's going to happen.
If Arkansas beats Texas this week and Georgia beats Tennessee, everybody's got 2 losses.
You're at least the only 2. I think you're minimum 4 2-loss teams.
Yeah.
I think that is your absolute bottom of the barrel.
And the number is 5 or 6.
I mean, again, if Arkansas, like Jim just said, if Arkansas wins, you're going to have 6 or 7 2-loss teams.
Yeah, I know SEC fans, non-Texas fans are already pulling against Texas this year. But if you want absolute chaos, you want Arkansas to play their A game.
And that's where Texas' favorable SEC schedule will hurt them in terms of going to Atlanta and maybe the college football playoff.
Hell, they still got to play Texas A&M. They could be a 3-loss team at that
and
point.
then they're
if they
100%
lose tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they lose tomorrow, that Texas A&M game could knock them out.
Yeah.
Just like Georgia is facing tomorrow.
I get the feeling Lance is not – I don't know where you are on this game, but generally in these games, you don't believe in Sark in these pressure-packed games like this.
Yeah, I don't know. Is this a pressure-packed game?
I think it is because of what we just talked about.
If they lose this game tomorrow, Lance, I think they're near the bottom of the 2-loss pecking order, and then they still have to play Texas A&M.
Yeah, and it
on
would
the road,
and that would
in a
definitely
blood game.
That shuts the door.
That's blood diamonds.
But with Texas's money and exposure, I mean, the best loss or best win's going to be over a 6-6 Vanderbilt more than likely.
That is their problem. Yeah, that's their problem.
Yeah.
I can do the scenario generator at some point if y'all want to, with Texas losing this and being a 2-loss, but we'll get to that at some point.
Okay, let's do Browns headlines now, Tyler.
I am going to go to the Tennessean. They're in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. I am a-leaving. The Tennessee players go straight to the bus after losing to Georgia. They don't shower. They don't talk to the press. They're out.
Yeah. Nico, I am a-leaving.
I am a-leaving, man. They get right on that bus, and they hit the road. I don't even want to talk about that anymore.
Yeah, let's get out of here. So you think Georgia wins?
I think Georgia wins. Yeah, they normally do against Tennessee. We also have some alternate stories. Page 2. A Birmingham, Alabama neighborhood has been declared the Vizsla capital of the world after an influx of that dog breed.
Not one.
Not two.
Not
three.
Boy,
Thank you, LeBron.
Came up at dinner last night, and again, I was informed that somebody would leave state, never come back if there was number 3. I don't want number 3 to begin with.
Yeah.
But number 3 needs a home. Look, there she is, beautiful 2-year-old. If you're in the market for a Vizsla, I can give you all the ins and outs. That beautiful girl needs a home.
Yes. Page 3.
So there's another beautiful girl. So you have to,
That's true.
You have to choose between 2 beautiful girls.
I know which one you ought to pick, but you didn't ask me. Page 3. Internationally known sports analyst, the Brown Bandit, declared missing fear dead.
Oh, no.
Okay, well, if this is going on Monday, I need the Brown Bandits picks going into the weekend. Just fade it.
Well, he already lost his Tuesday game. Remember, he's only going Tuesday games now because that was working for him until it didn't.
It was 1-1.
It's 1-0. It was working for him, and now it's 1-1.
Yeah.
Man, if he's feared dead, guys.
God, what would be the next character to come in and replace him?
No idea. I mean, that is a cliffhanger for Tuesday's show.
I mean,
the
would
Brown
that
Bandit's
be
still alive.
the biggest missing pseudo-local celeb since the dude that got shot in the head that used to be on the radio on Magic 96?
I don't remember that story.
Do you not remember that?
I do not.
Yeah, his ex-wife rolled him up in the carpet and gave him a Viking funeral.
And he was on Magic?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that story?
It was a neighborhood lake.
Yeah,
it wasn't even like a big lake. It was like a neighborhood lake.
Yeah, because I think, if I've got this right, my older brother used to live in their neighborhood and was kind of somewhat friends with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, he went missing. What was his name?
I don't remember names. I'm not going to bring names into it. But I do remember.
Only one's been shot in the head from 96 to this point.
We'll narrow it down quickly.
You can research it yourself. I'm not going to say it on the air here. But, rolled up, burned, and hoping to sink the ashes to the bottom, I guess.
Oh, my gosh.
But it wasn't like Smith Lake or Lake Martin. It was
like Star Lake and Hoover or something like that.
It was like I think a golf course around it, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't remember the lake, but it was one of the smaller local lakes.
I think you might be
or a pond
combining 2 stories. There was one down at Highland Park. Is that the one you're talking about?
No.
Okay.
That was a potato chip.
That was a potato chip air.
Yeah. No, different one.
Okay.
Yeah, but he was thrown in the pond too.
Yeah, you got to watch the local lakes.
And that's a lot of work. And I mean,
Boy,
you just
it
think the catfish is going to eat the body?
No doubt.
So if the Brown Bandit's out,
Missing Fear dead, Jim.
Brown Sheriff, no.
I mean,
Brown Prince.
All I'll tell people is watch Tuesday's show and just see. I mean, maybe the guy's not dead. Y'all don't jump to conclusions like the Tennessean has.
Brown Pirate.
Yeah. Don't know.
I mean, it's getting a little uncomfortable with the first name here, but
that's the name it was given.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
we'll
a new
see. I
character.
mean, we'll just see. Y'all hang with it right there.
When you throw $1,000 play out there, what do you call it? The Brown Dime?
We haven't had one of those yet. We'll see.
Yeah. The Brown Streak is the way it's been this year, according to Jay Baswell.
It's been pretty bad.
Yeah, you have to check your boxers. For that.
By the way, that is the headlines. McCurryRentals.com, McCurryRentals.com.
And our show brought to you by our friends at CPAP Plus. Go ahead, Brand. You were going to say something?
Yeah, let him do CPAP, and I'll follow it up with that.
Yeah, hey, the O'Neill brothers, CPAP users themselves. So when you come in, you need advice to one of those 3 convenient locations. They are the guys that can actually give you the advice. Those locations. Pelham, Highway 280, Trustful, Google CPAP Plus. Also for the next round viewer and listener, they've got a $20 credit towards purchase of a new mask system, the CPAP cleaner, even a travel CPAP machine. Stop by CPAP Plus, where you're going to find the best service and equipment, all in stock, ready for you, with hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. Trust CPAP Plus for all of your CPAP needs. CPAP Plus, where every night matters.
If all the favorites win throughout in the SEC, but Arkansas upsets Texas tomorrow, and then Texas does beat Texas A&M, okay? You will have 7 2-loss teams, and your SEC championship game would feature Alabama and LSU.
God.
LSU has got a better than most path in a 2-loss tie.
Well, I don't think anybody wants to see that game, except LSU.
No, oh, you think LSU wants it? Well, they would just have one shot at
way they can
glory.
get in.
Yeah, that's a one shot at the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't think Bama would want to play that game again, would they?
No, I mean, you wouldn't, because
I mean, Bama's much better, obviously, but you already beat them.
And then at that point, we're still going to say that Alabama would automatically be in because we're not going to penalize the SEC championship loser. So you'd have 2 3-loss SEC teams in the playoffs. That's hard to imagine.
It'd be hard to imagine that. I would agree 100% with you, Jim.
Hard to imagine, but you don't want to set a precedent on the first year that your championship game loser can be left out.
I know.
It's chaos, man. It's chaos.
But keep in mind, if Texas loses this game tomorrow, there is a really good chance you end up with an SEC runner-up that's got 3 losses.
Yeah. They're not going to lose. They're not going to lose. But I'll be cheering for it. I'll be
You just want
big suey.
You just want
all
the chaos.
morning long.
I mean, will you be cheering for it too? I'm definitely cheering for Arkansas.
Oh, I generally cheer for chaos in college football. Yeah. Generally cheer for chaos. Unless I've got a rooting interest for one reason or another, somebody we know, somebody we like, I'm generally on the side of chaos.
So do you think, I know Greg Sankey would never say this, but he ain't pulling for chaos?
No, I think Greg would like a good, clean conference champion to come out of there. And then
he wouldn't mind 1-loss Tennessee, 1-loss Texas playing for the title.
That's right. So we never even have to test the old 3-loss SEC championship.
Let's don't even use a tiebreaker.
That's
We're
right.
going to use a tiebreaker. Rhett Lashley, Red looks not his best morning here. He's going to get a still shot here.
Red didn't get enough sleep.
I mean, it's the pressure of winning the ACC. I mean, little bags on the eyes. Watching a lot of tape late. Rhett Lashley, though, he's done a hell of a job at it.
Yeah, how big would the job have to be for him to leave Dallas?
It's going to have to be pretty big.
Yeah, in the NIL
That's a good
world,
spot right there. He is in a good spot.
I'm starting to get the feeling that they might be the ACC rep.
Yeah,
I mean,
it wouldn't blow me away.
Honest to goodness, the question becomes, moving into the future, soundbite not related to what we're about to play, but moving into the future, if we continue to expand the SEC and the Big Ten.
SMU to the SEC?
A lot of money in SMU.
They look like they belong. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
And it's a smaller stadium, but if
how's their academics?
Oh, I think it's very good.
Could be a nice Big Ten program.
Never really worry about that. But it's a smaller stadium. But if you had SEC and Big Ten programs coming in there, you would fill that stadium up a lot.
Yeah.
Like if they played an SEC schedule, it's jam-packed sellout every single game.
Now, what if they played a Big Ten schedule?
That's going to be a little trickier. Like, I don't think Purdue sells their stadium out.
Yeah, but you
Ohio State 100% does. Michigan does. Teams like that do.
Keep looking at footprints. What does the Big Ten not have? They got the coast.
They don't have Texas.
Middle America.
Yep.
They don't have Texas.
And the SEC's got a huge foothold in there.
Yeah, they do. Rhett Lashley. Here we go. On conference bias in the playoffs. Remember, he cut his teeth in the SEC as a coordinator. Now he's a head coach, not in a name brand conference. Here's Rhett.
On behalf of the ACC, I think it is interesting. Yeah, there's normal brand biases for teams. I'm not really going to get into that, but there's conference biases. And I think it's interesting that, you look at the ACC, we have a winning record against the Big Ten this year. We have a winning record against the Big 12 this year. We don't have a winning record against the SEC, but we have 4 games left, and if we win enough of those, we would have a winning record. So that's still up in the air. It's been competitive. And, so to look at our league and say, well, we may be a one-bid league, but you look at another league that we have a winning record against and say, oh, they're going to get 4 in. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. It needs to make it make sense. When other leagues beat each other up internally, they're considered a deep, solid league. When we beat up internally, we're considered a weak league. When Kentucky goes and beats Ole Miss, when Arkansas goes and beats Tennessee, when South Carolina goes and beats A&M, when Vandy beats Alabama, that's considered a deep league. When Georgia Tech beats Miami, right? When Louisville goes on the road and beats Clemson, when UVA goes on the road and beats Pitt, we're not considered a deep league. I think we're a pretty deep league. And so I just want our league to get the same respect that everyone else gets. And, I think we have at least 2, probably 3 or 4 teams still that should be very well considered for the college football playoff in this league.
That was a far more polished, not near as hicky Mike Gundy is all that was right there.
Yeah,
I'm serious. That sounded like something Gundy would have said.
But listen, if we were doing our show in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we were an ACC show,
we'd agree 100% with him?
I'd agree 100% with him. He's not wrong.
Everybody compares him to his mentor, Gus Malzahn. First of all, I think he's a better coach than Gus. Still got smaller sample size, obviously, but much more personality than Gus, and that's not saying much. I mean,
but that is a very low bar. I would agree.
It is true. It is true. When Vandy beats Alabama, it is the first thing I thought is, God, this league is so hard. You can't even go into Vandy anymore and count on a win.
But some of that is built up over history.
It is.
You can't deny that history tells you the SEC is a really tough league. Why? Because when we start crowning national champions in a playoff, the SEC's won almost all of them.
Yeah, and they do it with different teams, Brown. To your point is you've got Alabama who's won 1, Georgia who's won 1, LSU who's won 1, Auburn who's won 1. You got all these teams that's won 1 this century.
That's right. Yeah, so history tells me I should probably give that league the benefit of the doubt. I don't like it when coaches have to go that deep into the analytics of why their conference should be better. I just feel like, who's SMU got this week?
SMU has Boston College.
Who's now playing without Castellanos.
Yeah, backup quarterback.
He's in the portal, by the way. Officially in the portal.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
On 3 gives him an 87 grade in the portal.
Yeah, he's a good player.
I was going to say it would have been a major upgrade for Hugh Freeze.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been interesting in that offense.
It'd be really good. I just, when coaches start doing this and going deep dives and knowing who's beat who, and if we get 4 more wins, we've got a winning record over the SEC. That's generally when somebody sneaks up on them and says, why are you even talking about that right now? I don't know if Boston College can do that with a backup quarterback, though. And then SMU ends with Cal. I'm with Lance. I think Rhett Lashley.
Where is that game, by the way?
What, the Cal game?
And in Berkeley?
It's in Dallas.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's in Dallas. I'll double check this. I'm with Lance. I don't think he's going to have to worry about all this because I think they may end up winning the ACC. Now, there's a chance it comes down to them and Clemson. Would you take SMU over Clemson?
I don't think so.
I'd like them against Miami just because Miami's defense is.
And we're going ACC championship game, right?
This is ACC championship in Charlotte. Big Clemson crowd.
I think Clemson would be an 8.5-point favorite.
Wow, that big, huh?
Yeah.
Bobby, big Auburn fan. If SMU gets to the playoffs this year and Freeze loses 4 games next year, Auburn will have a tough decision to make between Lashley and John Sumrall.
Look, I like Lashley a lot, but I don't think it's tough. I mean, Sumrall seems like a fit there.
I think it would be far easier to pry Sumrall away from Tulane than Lashley from SMU. That's just a good spot at SMU. You got all the money in the world behind you. It's a good institution in a great city. And he's just not under the same pressures as.
And he's been there. He
coach.
knows the dysfunction down on the plains.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he'd want to get back involved because everybody. Here we go, Tiny Gus.
Yeah.
Tiny Gus.
Tiny Gus.
That's exactly what it would be.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's exactly what you'd hear after the first loss.
Real quick, SMU has BC this week. They're at Virginia.
I mean, that's a tough game.
Yeah, and then they host Cal.
Yeah, I'm not trying to discount what Tony Elliott's done because if he does win tomorrow, he has doubled his win total over his first 2 years from 3 wins to now at 5 wins, looking for that 6th win to get bowl eligible. I just think it's really difficult for them being in South Bend, but SMU in Charlottesville, That's a tough game.
Grace Tree Services, before we hear from Steve Sarkisian on the big Texas-Arkansas game, tell us about the guys who took down the 4 Dead Pines.
Yeah, man, just fantastic guys. And you want somebody that knows what they're doing. I told you the story earlier this week about the dude that knocked on the door, said, you've got a couple of dead pines, I'm going to take care of it, and almost killed himself right in front of me. Look, these guys family-owned and operated for over 25 years right here in Birmingham. They are experts in high-risk tree removals, pruning, soil health treatment to strengthen the trees and plants. Call this number today. Tell them the Next Round sent you. 205-281-6100 or scan the QR code or visit grazetree.com.
Listen, we've talked a lot about it. Texas and Arkansas there in Fayetteville. Back-to-back home games where Arkansas has lost by 24 or more points. So since they beat Tennessee, it has not been the year we thought it was. Now, they're still 5-4, but we thought they were going on to something special, and they've lost a couple of big games at home.
Well, I think what's happened here is, they were great at forcing turnovers. I mean, Mississippi State, they turned them over 5 times, they win that game. They turn over Auburn 5 times, they win that game. But for their last 5 games, they haven't forced a turnover. In order for them to beat Texas, I think you guys would agree they need to be +2, +3 in turnovers. And the problem for Arkansas is Quinn Ewers, to me, is coming off his best game against Florida.
He was fantastic against Florida. Now, Florida was at a huge disadvantage in that game, offensively for sure. So that game got away from them quick, but Ewers was terrific.
Isn't this a game you go to Bobby Petrino if you're Sam Pittman and you're like, hey, I know you can be aggressive. I know we've got some weapons. Lay it all out.
Yeah.
Like,
what do we have to lose, really? What do you have to lose?
Everything you can throw at them. And
That's
therefore,
right.
if Arkansas is scoring points, then I do think it goes back to Sark under a lot of pressure to keep up and win a track meet.
Yeah. And here's Steve Sarkisian. Arkansas's secondary is a mess. Quinn Ewers should have a field day. But there's one thing that keeps us going back to maybe Arkansas has a fighting chance, and that's the old storyline of just how bad Arkansas hates Texas.
There seems to be so much focus from people about the A&M rivalry. Is this Arkansas rivalry sort of like underrated just because there's so much focus on A&M?
I think it might be underrated nationally. I don't know if it's going to get the same exposure that it would nationally, but I will tell you internally, it's getting the same amount that's needed, that it deserves. And this rivalry's been going on for a long time. I was joking with the team this morning. I don't know what Darrell Royal did to Arkansas back in the day, but they absolutely hate our guts. And I think we learned that the first time around when we went there. You watch some of the clips at the end of that game, and Joe Tessitore is talking about that Arkansas, hates Texas more than they like themselves. And he might be right. So I think from our perspective, internally we understand and value this rivalry, and it's great to have back. It's great for the state of Texas. It's great for the state of Arkansas. I wish nationally it probably got the exposure that this thing deserves. There's been some great games historically that these two teams have butted heads on, and so obviously we're looking forward to the opportunity.
And that game he references was in 21, and it really was Sam Pittman's first big signature win. And they were up 33-7 going into the fourth quarter. And that's a Texas team that had Bijan Robinson. They had Xavier Worthy. Didn't have great quarterback play with Hudson Card. But, and that even goes back to KJ Jefferson still on that team. But that was an ass whipping.
Yeah, embarrassment for Texas. I mean, they walked Texas right off the field in Fayetteville.
I enjoyed the heck out of it.
I remember watching it and thinking, man, this is because that was SEC versus Texas.
Yeah.
Man.
Look how deep the SEC is.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rhett.
I know. I don't know where the hatred comes from either, but I think it was probably little brother, wasn't it?
And they were the two best teams in the Southwest Conference traditionally, and all the Southwest Conference teams were in Texas.
That's right, except Arkansas.
Except for Arkansas.
Yeah, well, and Texas is that Midwestern, formerly Southwest, Big 12 team that everybody else in the league hated, much like Alabama in the SEC.
Exactly. Easy to hate. All right, we'll hear from Shane Beamer, Deion Sanders still to come. We've got trash. We've got our picks for the weekend as we're running out of time in our championship as well for the Pick 3. It's the top of the hour right now. The show brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. They are opening the door right now. What does it sound like, Brown, when they open the door? Bing! No, it's
What kind of door do you have?
It's one at a convenience store, apparently. That's the one at Bing's, yeah.
But see, Sterling's been there all night. He's brined that chicken overnight. He cooks it to order when you walk in right now at 11 o'clock Central Time and sit down and say, 2 big breasts, please, Sterling. Brined overnight.
Just like
cooked
Jim
to
likes
order.
it.
Loves them. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales and so much more. For your tailgate, for watching at home, it's Champy's Chicken. Champy'sChicken.com.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trustville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Hang out with The Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
I don't know any of the actors or actresses, but I'm interested in this story I've just been sent because I was a huge fan of Friday Night Lights. Liked the movie, loved the TV series on NBC back in the day. Universal is rebooting Friday Night Lights, a new iteration of the football drama by Universal Television with Jason Katims. Anybody know that guy?
Nope.
Pete Berg.
I know Pete Berg, yep. Pete Berg is an actor that was at the Great White Hope, Copland, a lot of things, and then he started directing and did some of the, Ballers, and he's been behind the camera a lot.
Brian Grazer. All of them have signed on for it. It's believed to be a new story, still set in the world of high school football with new characters rather than the previous cast. So no Kyle Chandler, no Connie Britton.
I think Pete Berg actually directed and produced the first Friday Night Lights movie with Billy Bob and who was the hick? Tim.
The kid
Tim
from
McGraw.
Tim McGraw.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah.
And then they had the guy from the quarterback in the Friday Night Lights movie from Alabama.
I don't remember. I didn't like.
You're thinking of Lucas Black.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, from Speak, Alabama.
Yeah.
I think. I thought the movie was okay. I watched the first season. I know a lot of people love that show, but
I like the first season's better than I like the movie. I didn't like it, and now I've been told I gave up on it too early. But
I don't know if you did.
When he took the college job, but apparently that was just a blip in the radar.
Who's the bitter guy that wrote the book?
Buzz Bissinger.
Yeah,
he
we had
turned
him on the
super
show.
bitter late in his life. He
Yeah.
was just pissed off about everything.
Yeah. A lot of reboots lately. There was something on my timeline last night. How many times is that, what was it, Cruel Intentions? It was a modern-day remake of some other Shakespeare.
yeah.
Taming of the Shrew was
Yeah.
what it was based off of. It had Sarah Michelle Gellar in it.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of good scenes there. We've seen Macbeth spinoffs, and we've seen Othello spinoffs. I mean, a lot of Shakespeare, and obviously the Romeo and Juliet takes.
There's a new TV series, Cruel Intentions, that's out. Basically the same thing. It came across my timeline last night after fake pooping cheerleader, I can only assume.
I'm going to tell you.
See that video?
I've not seen it, no.
My new guilty pleasure is going to be this, because Amazon Prime's got a little.
I'm just doing this. Just doing this.
Amazon Prime's got a little cheese in their series. But this new one, Alex Cross has been one of these characters. You saw Morgan
they showed
Freeman.
it right after the game last night, didn't they?
I think the dude that did Tyler Perry did an Alex Cross.
Yep.
And this looks like a legit Alex Cross. Now, I know the reviews aren't great. They're like in the 70s. But this looks like a series that I can get behind. It dropped last night. I think they dropped every episode.
You know what I enjoyed watching last night was the next gen broadcast version of that broadcast.
I saw you tweet about that. I have never watched that. Who's on that? Is it still Herb Street and Michaels?
It's still the same broadcast, and you get cutaways after the play. But the play, when you watch it, it's the high camera behind it.
So Skycam?
It's almost like you're watching a Madden play happen, and the ability to see the spacing of the defense, open receivers downfield.
Yeah.
And or just running gaps or how quick the quarterback position, watching it from that angle, it looks so much harder to play than watching it from our traditional side angle. Like, it looks like the pressure is on you from the snap. Which it is.
It
in
is.
about 2 seconds.
It's a lot of times.
But every play, I watched it last night. It was just insanity at how quick you have to make a decision for Jaden Daniels when Jalen Carter was blowing everything up last night.
I've never looked at that. So it's the same feed. It's a full feed. It's not like the stats and all that. Okay.
That's right. Now, they occasionally do have a pop-up guy that'll come in that will say something like, the betting line has now changed where it's 2.5, blah, 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 for Philadelphia the rest of the way out. And then it'll go back to the broadcast, but he sort of pops up in a little circle down at the bottom.
And it's all gambling-related stuff?
You do get cool things like when it'll be a stat on like Brian Robinson last night. I think he was 48.5 was his number in Vegas. And when he had a big run, he now had 60 yards, and it had, even in green letters, winning ticket. Was 48.5, now 60 yards rushing. So that kind of stuff was popping up on it.
Are you surprised now that you bring this up that ESPN now they've leaned into ESPN Bet, but on ESPN broadcast, why would you not put like the live number is this to wager on this, the live number in total, go to ESPN Bet?
I think they're caught between a rock and a hard place of wanting not to hurt their ratings, traditional viewership, and making it too much gamble oriented. I am surprised they do not do just a secondary alternate channel broadcast like they did on Prime with this, just to cover, because I don't think they lean into ESPN bets enough. If I've spent that much money on ESPN bets, I would be putting it everywhere. I know they do, but not as much as I thought they should.
I was told quickly when I was when I do the hit with Ian on Mondays, it's not mybookie.ag, it's ESPN Bet. So they do talk about ESPN Bet on radio a lot more than they do TV. But if you just had, you're running the ticker, you just threw it down there a little bit.
Yeah, I think a graphic wouldn't really, but to your point, like if you constantly had the announcer updating it, it would wear me out. Yeah. I'd be out on that. I don't need the constant update on.
But I do think there would be, and maybe we can create this on the fly, maybe we could do another YouTube channel where we just sit back and it's nothing but gambling, talking about all the games going on.
That's interesting. Like if you like you do the watch parties, which we've done a couple of, and you
like tonight, if we had North Texas, Texas San Antonio, commented on the game a little bit. This number opened at 1-72. Now you've got North Texas. We'll go with Dunaway. They're up 17-3. You can get a live number on UTSA right now at plus 13.5. Total is going all the way to 82. This is the way I would play it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there would be some interest, probably very niche, but people like to gamble.
Yeah, I found it on player props, which Little T and I enjoy playing a lot of. That's where I enjoyed it the most last night was, and I had not made any player props. I wish I had, because every time they put up the receiving yards or passing yards or anything, they had what the number you had to get over to have a winning ticket was on there with it. Like 117 passing yards, you need 198 to get your winning ticket. It's like that was constant. It was sort of interesting.
Earlier in the mybookie.ag chat room, somebody was talking about taking Tyson in a first or second round knockout at, I think it was plus 1,200 or something like that. I know I can't personally find that right now at mybookie.ag.
Yeah, let me see if I can check another site real quick.
That's one of those where you say just a flyer, right?
If I was going to, I think whoever said that is right. I think if Tyson's going to win, that's the way he's going to win. So instead of getting $180 back, and again, this number continues to fluctuate.
It's 244 right now. Jake Paul is favored minus 244.
Yeah, so you can get Tyson back roughly 210. Yeah. I mean, I would rather take a flyer, him knocking out Paul in the first or second round, if I wanted to back Tyson. Again, I'm not backing Tyson, but if I did, that would be the way to go about it.
Yeah, but remember, Jake Paul's putting the fight on, so I don't think that'll happen. MyBookie.ag, if you want to play that.
If he gets his ass knocked out, he can't control it.
That's right. Good luck getting Mike to follow rules. I think we've learned Mike ain't going to follow
that
rules.
Is true.
Comcast Cablevision.
Hey, look, and he could have an agreement. Yeah. Hey, look, you make X amount if you do take the fall in the fourth, fifth round, whatever it is. It would be so Mike Tyson, to have a sit down with Joe Rogan in 3 months. I wasn't going to let his ass beat me.
I didn't get paid for that because I was supposed to lose. I decided to win. MyBookie.ag bring you the numbers.
You could play that game, or that boxing match, I should say, right there at MyBookie.ag. We've talked a lot about Texas and Arkansas. It is currently at 12. Texas a 12-point road favorite there in Fayetteville. Also, the big noon kick, Utah, an 11-point road dog at Colorado. Colorado is the favorite there. Interesting, Clemson and Pitt. This is Clemson's last ACC game. So they got a chance to lock up at least a tie for that second spot.
Pressure on Miami.
Put the pressure on Miami. Clemson is an 11-point favorite right now at Pitt. 12-point road favorite at Pitt. You can play all those games right there at mybookie.ag, code next round. Alabama, good line by you. I just saw it for the first time at mybookie.ag, 43. They are favored 43. You put it at 44.
So Clemson, real quick on this, and look, we've hit 5 straight 11 o'clock games. So we're trying to get out of that funk. And this is a game that I am looking at in the morning. Clemson 6-0 straight up and against the numbers, a double-digit road favorite. And I do think that if Dabo can, he would run it up on Pittsburgh. They need some style points.
I don't know where I don't think they need style points. I think they've got to win the ACC.
Because they've already got 2 losses.
Yeah, they've already got 2 losses. But I just don't know where the tiebreakers fall.
Maybe it needs style points to build more confidence in your team.
Yeah, maybe build some confidence. But I got to see where the ACC tiebreak falls. That is going to be, if Clemson ends up in that conference championship game, I think SMU or Miami had rather see SMU or Miami.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. They want to play each other. They don't want to see a machine that's not going to be the moment's not going to overwhelm them.
That's right.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Did you tell us about Hemphill yet?
No, I did not. The other team I wouldn't want to see is the team I brought up to Fuhrman in Louisville. Miami's already seen them.
Yeah,
That was
Miami.
a hell of a game.
Yeah.
205-229-2090. Trust the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
All right, so back to college football we go. Trash in the next segment, our picks at the end of the show. South Carolina has been playing really, really good football. Here is Shane Beamer, LT. He's got to do something now. I don't think he's had to do since he's been at South Carolina, and that's, listen to him.
Don't listen to it. It's easier said than done. Let's be real. The last time we got ranked, we didn't play worth a crap the next week, and I would hope that a lot of our guys remember that. And I'm not saying that it was because we sat around patting ourselves on the back because we were ranked, but we need to make sure that we focus on what's important, and what's important is preparing to play a really physical and good Missouri team. I realize that we only have them for 4 hours a day in this building, so the other 20 hours, everybody on campus. So everybody on campus, please don't be patting them on the back and telling them how amazing they are right now. Please don't be talking about rankings and bowl games and everything else. Let's talk about Missouri. Nobody's goal was to win 6 wins or win 6 games and be in the top 25. We all had higher expectations going into the season as well. No one else did. I realize that, but this group had very high expectations for themselves going into 2024. It's good to see that we've been able to accomplish a lot of things already, but there's still a lot more for us to accomplish, but we can't take a step back.
For the fine folks in South Carolina, all of a sudden that South Carolina-Clemson game, that rivalry game's interesting.
It is interesting, and I just looked, by the way, Clemson needs Miami to lose again to go to the ACC Championship. Now, how that could play into South Carolina is if Clemson knows by the time that game kicks, we can't go to Charlotte. What mindset are they in? And it is absolutely going to be South Carolina's Super Bowl.
Yeah, and we go
in
back.
Death Valley.
Go back to a little more than a month ago. I think it was October 12th. Alabama hosting South Carolina. That was going to be viewed as Kalen DeBoer can't handle the SEC if they would have converted that 2-point play at the end, or if they would have gone underneath, set up a game-winning field goal. But if you go back to that game, a minute 37 left, Alabama's got a 14-0 lead on a really good South Carolina team. They were about to bury South Carolina.
That's right, in the first half.
And from that moment on, South Carolina has been a top 20 team in all of college football.
Legitimate chance at 9-3, though. I mean, a very legitimate chance because they've got Missouri, who they're heavily favored over.
Yeah, they'll win that game.
They should. They've got Wofford, which is a layup,
Yep.
and then at Clemson, which I don't know what a point spread is, but
Clemson right now would be 4.5.
I mean, I'll throw the point spread out. I think South Carolina's that good. They could win that game at Clemson.
Oh, yeah. Rivalry weekend, I'm telling you, man. It's going to be awesome.
It is going to be terrific. Imagine 9-3 with a win at Clemson. I mean, that is a heck of a year for Shane Beamer.
Yeah. And recruiting-wise, pull up the latest On3 Sports team rankings, because I think yesterday, with the commitment to Auburn and another decommitment from Alabama, did Auburn jump Alabama in recruiting rankings yesterday? I thought I saw our guys Zach Blackerby and Brad Law talking about that on thebarnauburn.com, thebarnauburn.com.
So they did not. Right now, at On3, Alabama is 2, Auburn is 6. Were you wanting me to look up South Carolina?
Yeah, check 24/7 real quick for that. And then I thought at one point, maybe I misunderstood what they were saying, that I thought in recruiting-wise that somehow the gap had closed or even Auburn had jumped them.
Georgia jumped Alabama at 24/7. Alabama is 3rd there. Auburn is also 6th there.
Okay, so Auburn is 6.
Yeah, at On3, so you wanted me to look up South Carolina.
I did.
Explain to me.
Where Beamer is compared.
He's 20th.
20th. Where's Dabo? 18?
Does Cannell disagree
16.
with the SEC recruiting rankings, you think?
Probably.
He probably does.
Does it say SEC next to it? Then he does.
I just, Shane Beamer, a guy that I don't know if you guys had him on a hot seat. But
maybe
could have been.
I think he could have played his way on it.
But
if he was in Freeze's situation, he's on the hot seat.
Yeah.
But to end the year where they end up beating, they end up beating Dabo and South Carolina and Clemson in that rivalry in that state there, and to be close in recruiting, that'd be a big feather in the cap for Shane Beamer there. Taylor is saying it was on Rivals that Auburn jumped Alabama.
So
Rivals, who uses Rivals? Taylor, come on.
Hey, when you get a chance, you guys look down right. Pat McAfee is broadcasting from from Athens right now. He needs some SPF.
Oh, yeah. More sun than he counted on in November.
He is completely torched.
He's wearing a tank top.
Yeah, that had to be from somewhere else, LT.
I don't think so.
We haven't been out there long enough, though. It had to be within the last day or two. Yeah.
I don't know if he went fishing somewhere.
No doubt Pat was not prepared for the amount of sun you get in the Deep South in November. Now, the temperature may read cool, but you're going to get plenty of sun.
Yeah, sneaky sun. Yeah. Sneaky sun. All right, Deion getting ready for is this the biggest game? And I know
100%.
I think each one moving forward.
Yeah, I know they're supposed to win the game easily at this point, but
I would say the biggest.
He's on a different stage now.
Biggest game to date he has coached at Colorado to me was the TCU game, his very first game. Everybody was passing judgment on him, and they played so exceptionally well, and he looked so in control of the situation. I think that made that the biggest win he's had.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree because that really put them on the map. People were like, damn. And then they became like the most watched team in the month of September last year. But I think each and every game moving forward until they can close this deal, because if you're Kyle Whittingham, are you not selling, hey, look, we have a proud program. This guy, and again, I'm not saying Deion's a joker, but he could say, look, this joker over here we can absolutely ruin their season. There are a ton of people watching you guys. Everybody thinks Colorado's going to walk us off the field. I think Whittingham does have an angle of motivation here. I don't think they're going to win, but he's got an angle.
I don't either. Their football team, Utah's, is so beaten up right now.
And that's a devastating loss Saturday night.
Yeah, they were all in. They think they won. By the way, I saw a different replay.
Oh, tease.
I see that.
I saw a different replay from a fan camera. Absolutely holding.
It was hold, but I think Clapp makes a great point. You've not called it all game. You can't tell me a play just like that hasn't happened all game, and now
he was going to get beat for a touchdown.
And maybe, I mean,
if you assume that the quarterback was running for his life.
If you're giving benefit of the doubt, maybe he didn't see some of these other holds, and maybe that was blatant. The camera angle is what killed everything.
Yeah, somebody sent it to us. I saw the same video you saw, and it's absolutely a hold. I am not denying that.
It's a pretty good fan shot from the stands, and you've got the guy's about to make a move on him and run past him, and the guy hooks him and basically, the receiver does a good job not falling to the ground.
And the other thing is, you still could have stopped them. I know you got what you thought was a bad call. That call did not put BYU in field goal range.
No.
BYU still had to drive, and the guy hit a pretty good field goal.
Yeah, the next play is what really got him going.
The completion over the middle. It was like a 30-yard completion.
Utah down to their third-string quarterback, Brandon Rose, but now he's out, so Isaac Wilson's coming back. He's been a disaster. Things not going good for Utah. And for Colorado,
By the way, they need to burn a voodoo doll on Cam Rising because they can't get quarterbacks staying healthy. Yeah. And it's like it started with the black cat Cam Rising as good as he was.
They need time. It's time for Cam Rising to move on. Don't apply for that 8th year or whatever you want to do. Deion Sanders gets asked if he ever takes a step back to think about how far his program has come in such a short period of time.
This has been a historic season for the program, and things are only going to start getting crazier with Big Noon coming this week. Mm-hmm. I was just curious how often you get a chance to take a step back and take in the magnitude of what you've done here and how things have changed in the last 2 years.
I never try to take a step back. I try to take a step up. I'm always with my head out the window. I'm trying to see around the corner. Not trying to see straight ahead. It's normalcy for everybody to see what's in front of them. I'm trying to see around the corner. That's the relationship I have with the Lord to help me see around the corner so I can help navigate these young men as well as the women that's attached to our program to a better way and a better life.
Cover everybody.
So I don't get caught up in the you go boys or the you ain't nothing. You know, if I would have listened to you guys earlier, I got to listen to you now. So I might as well just put some headphones on and block you out. Notice I don't have a sponsor for headphones, but that would have been a good placement for a sponsor.
Even better, where's your water sponsor? How do they not have a water sponsor?
I don't know. He's just drinking it out of a generic plastic cup. I thought the same thing. Even we have a water sponsor. We got Dasani water and Body Armor. I would say that is it's worded differently than these guys would word it. That is an answer you would have gotten to that question from a Nick Saban and a Kirby Smart.
Oh, yeah.
And guys that were a Dan Lanning and guys that are far more respected coaches right now than Deion Sanders based on their accomplishments, probably from a Ryan Day. He would have probably answered to this. the same type of answer. Now, Deion's going to say it differently about looking around the corner, taking a step up.
I got a different relationship with the good Lord.
That's right.
He helps me see around the corner.
Yeah, it's an interesting relationship.
Tonight, I'll pray. Right. God, would you let me see around the corner?
Well, isn't it more like I'm going to entrust in you, and I don't need to see around the corner?
Yeah, I just need God seeing around the corner. Right. He's got that handled for me. Just lead me that way. But the whole I'm not going to stop to smell the roses because there's always another challenge ahead of me is very much Bill Belichick, Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, that school of thinking that a lot of successful coaches live on. And a lot of people, I think, book by cover would think Deion's not that way. But at least the way he talks, he's that way. I'm not going to stop and appreciate this. It's not over yet.
Do you ever think God ever says at night when Deion puts his head on the pillow, let's be still. Tomorrow, let's be still. Be quiet. Let's have a moment.
Yeah. That corner I was going to show you around.
Yeah, around the corner.
That is kind of sad, though, that you have to operate that way. That you have to operate like, I enjoy stopping and appreciating the wins.
Yeah, boy.
Well, Nick Saban always preached that. He would.
Well, for 24 hours. I like to celebrate it more than 24 hours.
But he would come back on a Monday if everyone started talking about looking past the next two games to another big game. He'd be like, you know, I remember because he and I talked about it before on his coach's show. The journey is what he enjoys. The journey should be, you know, whether it's Mercer or LSU, you only get to play 12 games in the regular season. The entire journey, the course of the season, it's the journey.
Well, and I think, you know, bringing it home to different occupations and different perspectives, that's the most difficult challenge for me in life. I don't know about you guys, but just enjoying the moment. And I'm not talking about, there are people out there that maybe are lazy and content and all that kind of stuff, complacent. I'm talking about, you know, if you are somewhere and let's just say what we do for a living, it's difficult for me just to, let's enjoy this show.
See,
because I'm always looking out the window and around the corner.
I know. See, and I like doing that. I like enjoying the show. And
it's the way it should be, man.
Tomorrow's show will take care of itself. I want to enjoy today's show, man.
It's tough to do, though.
I'm not worried about tomorrow's show. I'll let Jim worry about that. Jim worries plenty about tomorrow's show.
I try to worry about this segment. Y'all get mad about me worrying about this segment.
I don't get mad at you.
I'll break it down to segments. It always works out. It always works out.
It always works out.
There is a time in every show, every day, where I think to myself, we're not going to get all the live reads in.
And we do it every single day. Every single day. We never leave one on the table.
Every time. And today, we're going to make it work again.
Yeah, we're on pace.
How long do you think about an Alabama win or a Rams win? Like
I'm still thinking about the loss last night.
Well, I know that, but I mean, when they win, all these coaches, the loss lives.
For me, instantly when it was 35-6,
you started worrying about Mercer.
No, I did two things. I did these two things. I was like, God, if he'd have played like this in Knoxville, Alabama would not be in this situation.
So you live in the regret.
No. Yeah. And then I started thinking, this was when the defense was on the field. And then Alabama came back out on offense. And I was like, God, you really don't need anybody to get their ankles rolled up on here.
Yeah.
You know, why is he still in the game?
Well,
why is this guy still in the game?
I heard a conversation. I went all the way back to week 1 this morning. I heard a conversation this morning about everybody's talking about that the Lions are going to have home field in the NFC. And you look at Philadelphia, who has now won 6 consecutive games, and they're only a game back. And I was thinking to myself, man, if the Rams would have called tails against Detroit in that week 1 and would have gotten the ball first, you know, maybe this is different. Maybe people are talking about Philadelphia differently. Maybe, you know, the Rams are in a much better situation.
One more thing before we take our next break is we have not talked a ton about Auburn and ULM this week. And I'm just wondering, do we think Auburn's offense, what's his point spread? Is it at
24 and a half?
Yeah, 24 and a half.
Yep. You want the total? Does that matter to you?
I mean, with Peyton Thorne or with it going young with a different quarterback, Auburn has to score 30 to cover the spread here. Are you comfortable that Auburn can score 30 with their offense?
No.
You're not?
I mean, I wouldn't play this game. I am definitely going to stay away from it. But your
total's 46.5. Auburn's a 24.5 point favorite with a total of 46.5.
So this La Monroe defense was really good up until they played South Alabama. And then they've taken on water their last 3 weeks. They've lost 46-17, 28-23 at Marshall, and 38-17 to Texas State. So if Texas State and South Alabama can score respectively 38 and 46, Auburn can probably do it. But before that, the first 6 weeks of the season, this was a good La Monroe defense. And I've seen this Auburn offense week in and week out, and it's just not good. So I don't know. If I had to play it, maybe play La Monroe.
They need 30?
Well, I mean, 24 and a half. I mean,
if they score a touchdown,
I'm just letting La Monroe score a touchdown.
What
think about it. If they score a touchdown, you've got to have 32 to beat them. I don't feel great that. I mean, if you could tell me right now La Monroe scores 14, I feel good about the cover.
For La Monroe.
Yeah.
Auburn's total is 35.5, their team total.
So, again, that goes back. If you were to score 14, then you're going to need 39.
Yeah, La Monroe's is 10.5.
Yeah.
I could see.
Vegas so good at that.
They are, aren't they? I don't want to play semantics here. I could see Auburn scoring 30. Like, I could see a scoop and score or a pick six being the reason to get over there. Does their offense score all 30? No, maybe not. But I think I could see the team scoring 30.
Yeah. Here, cut 5, and then we'll take our break. Auburn running back Damari Alston on finishing the season, and he uses a phrase here that I wish you'd do this every game and then go back to the gas pump. But here's Damari Alston.
The key is just like everybody staying together, just finishing strong. Just doing it for the player beside you, doing it for you, doing it for your why. Just digging deep and. Coach Nix hit on it yesterday. Well, now it's 19 days, but yesterday he told us, we got 20 days left, to just go out and just empty the tank. All the work that you put in the summer, off season, winter, spring, just let it all out and go play. We got nothing to lose, so yeah.
This screams, and he's talking about emptying the tank and bringing energy.
By the way, Damari's got My Energy Late Night Club LT when we used to do the post game.
Not exactly electric company there.
My career, put that back up, Forrester. And I think, give me Forrester's mic. Forrester will back me up on this. Forrester, you remember how they used to go ape what? If a kid walked in without an Auburn button-up golf shirt on, they'd be finding one, putting him in an Auburn. And I don't even know if they do it at Alabama anymore.
They don't do it anywhere, I don't think.
We've come a long way, but didn't they used to go crazy?
No, 100%. They would not allow the interview to happen if they were wearing something else.
Now you can roll in with a Raspberry Hills velour. Like if you took the Raspberry Hills off, this is something Polly Walnuts would have worn in The Sopranos.
But you remember it like I do, don't you? That they'd come walking in, and it would be like a cool T-shirt or something. It'd even be an Auburn T-shirt, Auburn football T-shirt. And they'd be, no. You got to have a collared golf shirt on. And I would say, listen, I don't care. We're shooting him. Look, we're going to shoot from this far up. It's going to be this much up. You're not even going to see it. Nope.
Collared shirt.
Nope.
I think this is he's talking about emptying the tank, and I was going to say energy. This is going to be a bring your own energy game. I imagine a pretty sleepy Jordan-Hare crowd. This is a fan base that
11:45.
11:45. You're playing La Monroe.
Spend a lot of money for that tailgate, though.
Yeah, I know, but don't you think there's going to be people like in our area? Some people in Huntsville that are big Auburn fans. You get up in the morning, you're like, let's watch it on TV.
Yeah, hey, come on now. We'll go to the
my buddies will be there tailgating. Now, them going inside the stadium may be a different thing.
We'll go to the Texas A&M.
But they're gonna spend some money.
No, I'm saying
they'll tailgate.
Tailgating's fine. I'm just saying sleepy Jordan-Hare crowd for this one. Not a full stadium. You'll have empty seats up in the upper decks.
And you've got multiple interesting 11 o'clock games. Again, Tulane still has an outside shot of being that Group 5. I think Brown agreed with me earlier that I think Tulane is the best team in the Group 5 right now.
I agree. I think they're better than Boise.
Dangerous game, though, in Navy. That's a really good game to kick it off. Texas, Arkansas, Clemson, Pitt, Utah, Colorado. I mean, the 11 o'clock window's nice window tomorrow.
We'll talk about the 11 o'clock window maybe in our pick 3 when we come back. You can play it right now. Johnston RV bringing us part of the show, all of our guests, including Todd Fuhrman today. Andy Staples sent his apologies. We won't get into the details why, but he had a reason. Something popped up that he couldn't be with us today, and he was apologetic, and we were like, don't worry about it, Andy. You're still in good standing with us.
Of course he is. Andy's almost like family to us. I'll go and make it family. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. That's Johnston RV Center. They love the United States military the way we do on this show. They can't all the way say thank you. You never can, but just a small show of gratitude. Great deals for you military folk, whether you're active duty or retired military, a veteran. Also, RV warranty forever. Make sure you've got a lifetime warranty on every single thing they sell that is new or qualifying pre-owned at Johnston RV Center. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, johnstonrvcenter.com.
And also, Brownie, I'd like to every day, let's start this Monday. Every day after the show, why don't you and I just do a little video, maybe get T involved with this, little T. Let's just do a short video every day after the show where we make a play at mybookie.ag for the night.
Okay.
And let's see for 2 weeks who has a better record.
Okay.
Or maybe who earns the most money.
Okay.
You in on that?
I'll do anything, man.
Yeah. I think we can get T involved, the three of us.
Okay.
Lance is a professional. We'll leave him out.
Yes. But we'll let him grade the pick.
Yeah.
He'll tell us who made the best pick.
But we'll put our hard-earned money up at mybookie.ag and see who ends up with the best money. What do you say?
All right.
Let's start. Remind me to do that on Monday because I come up with ideas sometimes and forget to circle back.
Yeah.
Tell us about mybookie.ag.
Mybookie.ag, code next round. That's where we're going to make those plays. You could play the Tyson Paul fight tonight. If you would like to do that, you can play all the college football games over the weekend, including tonight's games. If you would like to do that, the NFL on Sunday, right there at mybookie.ag, code next round. When you sign on at mybookie.ag, code next round. You use that code, you make your initial deposit, and when you make that deposit, they're going to double it when you use code next round. That is free money to play with right away at mybookie.ag. Code next round, mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. Code next round. Trash is next.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at scottforestertv.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Bright Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531.
3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, it's a fine art. New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming painting, Deuces Wild. This season, Bama is blessed with a pair of very talented deuces. The pair played a huge role on both sides of the ball in the Tide's amazing 41-34 victory over number 2 Georgia. Deuces Wild will portray the unbelievable game-winning 75-yard touchdown catch by deuce number 1, Ryan Williams, late in the fourth quarter. The Dogs' last chance drive was stopped by deuce number 2, Savion Brown, as he made the game-saving interception in the end zone, which will be celebrated by a small artist's remark in the bottom margin of each print. Go to danielmooreart.com to see the artist's preliminary sketch and take advantage of special pre-publication pricing for Deuces Wild. Also available, The Legend, Daniel Moore's final tribute to Coach Nick Saban. Order now at danielmooreart.com.
Here at The Next Round, we love our guests, especially our 2024 football regulars. Auburn and Alabama fans, we've got your guys. On Mondays at 9:25, we'll be joined by Alabama offensive lineman Tyler Booker, and Tuesdays at 9:25, we chat with Auburn quarterback Peyton Thorne. Join us and rep your team.
Back to the Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3 coming up at the end of this segment. Before we get to the top of the hour, we'll give you our picks for the week. Update the standings for you and everything. That's coming up. Michelson Laser Vision bringing you this part of the show before we get to trash.
Do you or a family member need to make your benefit selection at work now? Do you know your FSA or flex spending can be used to help you see clearly without the hassle of glasses or contacts? Yes, LASIK at Michelson Laser Vision might be a great choice for you. Book that free LASIK consultation today with Dr. Mark Michelson or Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. Find out if you can use your FSA or flex plan funds to get freedom from the hassle of glasses or contact lenses. I tell you guys a story all the time. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. Went in 2003, got the procedure done. 2015 vision, still better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her The Next Round sent you. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
All right. Before we get to trash, any other games that we haven't talked about yet that that are of interest to you?
Well, how do you guys feel about LSU, Florida? I asked Fuhrman. It's just been a smaller line, Lance, than I guess I would have imagined. I guess 4 points road, that's not that big a deal. And LSU just coming off a thrashing, but so is Florida.
Can DJ, is he healthy enough to run?
I don't know.
Like Jalen Milroe did?
No, I mean, that's what you would want him to do, right? Is see if they fix that yet another week.
So LSU and the 100 Years of Tiger Stadium, very, very much hyped up last week with Omar coming in. How many times do you think you've lost by 14 or more in Tiger Stadium in 100 years?
Well, I've seen Alabama do it a couple times at least.
Sean Alexander scored touchdown night.
The Dennis Franchione game, the COVID night where Devontae, Alabama's done it several times, actually.
Bill Curry did it one time, I think, in the 80s.
Well, I mean, it's going to be impossible for you guys to pull this number,
no
but
doubt.
in 100 years, they've
7
lost
times.
14 times by 28 plus.
I think we just counted 6 or 7 of them that were Alabama.
The past 4 have been Bama. This year, 2020, 2018, and 2002, the Franchione-Saban game. But Brian Kelly has, this is interesting, 19 career losses by 20 plus. But the next game, he's 13-6 against the number.
That's a good sign for -4 in Gainesville.
I just don't know what you're going to get if Lagway comes back at quarterback.
Yeah, is he healthy enough to take the hits and finish the game? That's an interesting game. LSU, Florida, 2:30 ABC.
Gator quarterback to beat LSU. Can you guys tell me?
Tim Tebow.
No, I'd go Kyle Trask.
LSU is 6-1 straight up in their last 7. It was actually Felipe Franks.
Yeah.
Dang. Oh, you know what? Kyle Trask lost the shoe toss game, did he not?
No, Kyle Trask won the shoe toss game.
No,
that was a Florida player that threw
Florida
the shoe.
threw it.
LSU kicked the game-winning field goal. That cost Florida a chance to play Alabama for a place in the playoffs. If they win that game, they play Alabama in the SEC, and the winner goes to the playoffs.
No, I think they still did, right? But they
did.
lost.
No, I'm saying the winner would have gone to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Or if they had won, they would have gone to the playoffs. Alabama would have won to the
even losing
playoffs.
to Alabama, they still would have been in the
Probably
playoffs.
so, but guaranteed.
Yeah. I think if Florida had won that game and then won the SEC championship, Florida and Alabama both could have
Probably so, yeah.
Could have both been in. All right, let's do trash, and then we'll make our picks. It's brought to you by Mortgage Right. Hit it. We're going to spin the wheel again? Okay, spin it.
Father of two, Dale Decker, suffers from a rare and seemingly incurable condition that leads to him suffering up to 100 unwanted orgasms a day.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
I remember the first time I heard that, I thought it was Rockstar doing a bit.
I am about to tell you a story of a guy that might not be able to experience this at all anymore. It is buying season always. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Veteran founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country. And while the area they serve may have grown, their commitment to Birmingham and veterans has not changed. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You get more information, go to the website, mortgageright.com/TNR. Call that Highway 280 office, 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. First story from the New York Post. A Philadelphia Flyer was left, and not a Philadelphia hockey player.
Oh, I was about to say, what happened?
Was left with third-degree burns and, quote, disfiguring scars on his penis and testicles, just reading, by the way, after spilling hot tea on his lap during a Frontier Airlines flight.
I mean, that is awful.
But I get scared. I mean, I'm flying back from Vegas, and they're passing coffee in the seats next to me. Now, I had window seat every way out there, so they didn't have to go over me. But the times I'm in the middle or on the edge, and they're sending that coffee over me, I'm like, what are we doing here?
You know, and one bit of turbulence. It's all over.
Boy, yeah. Even if it's not mine, if I'm just passing it. But it's hard to, I mean, that is hot tea if it scalds your balls.
Yeah, that's bad. Now,
my balls was hot.
Yeah. Sean Miller, the guy flying home from Myrtle Beach when he spilled the, quote, scalding drink, which was filled to the brim, quote, causing highly unsightly and embarrassing discoloration on his penis, scrotum, testicles, significantly decreased sensation in his penis, according to the federal lawsuit.
Do you have a before and after photo to prove the discoloration?
As soon as the plane landed in Philadelphia on September 20th, an ambulance met Miller, 56 years old, on the ground.
He had to stay on the plane, too. Think about that.
Was rushed to Jefferson Medical Hospital's burn center, treated for severe third-degree burns.
He was going to Jefferson Hospital? I know I wasn't moving on up anymore.
He also suffered a herniated disc while writhing in, quote, agony.
Yeah. I assume we don't have photos for this one, Tyler.
In addition to the burns, he says the spill also left him with pinched and damaged nerves, neck pain, embarrassment, emotional harm, strange pains, disc bulges, and disc herniations throughout his body, the extent which is presently unknown. He's the one that dropped in his own lap. He's probably going to get paid off.
Probably.
But the problem is he's probably cost other people, like I'm not a coffee or tea drinker, but he's probably going to, would you guys be surprised if they get to a point we can't serve anything hot on a plane anymore?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. It's too much turbulence, guys.
For a while at McDonald's, I think they had to sit it down on the thing, and you had to reach for it and bring it in. I think there was a situation there.
If we've got a solid lid game, I'm okay, right?
Yeah, the McDonald's situation Jim's talking about was a lady got served coffee that was, I think, 185 degrees or something.
That's hot
ridiculous.
coffee, yeah.
It was literally boiling, and then it spilled on her and gave her.
But now we've got on the window, if you pull up to McDonald's, on the cup, I mean, you've got all that.
Yeah. So he had some discoloration and spots. Is that where the saying "spot of tea" comes in?
It's a spot of tea. Yep. You know, I'll be at my daughter's school has a fall festival tonight. I'll go to. It's gonna be a little cool out tonight.
That's fine.
It's
Yeah,
gonna
perfect.
feel nice. There's a chance I might take a hot chocolate. Inevitably, I may drink 2 hot chocolates a year. No matter how hot it is, you're going to do that first sip and scald your mouth.
Well, it's the problem I have. I drink 1 cup of coffee a day. That's it.
Yep.
In the mornings. And I wish, and no matter who serves it to me, whether it's at the house or whatever, I wish it was already perfect drinking temperature when I got it. But then I guess it'd be too cold too quick.
At the end, yeah.
That's the problem with so you're a coffee drinker. I do like hot chocolate. I probably only drink it once or twice
That's what
a
I'm
year.
saying. I don't drink much of it.
But there's never really a good sweet spot with it. It's either too
That's
hot
right.
or once it gets cold, it sucks.
And you do that. All you do is go, and you get that just enough to scald the front of your tongue right there. Yep. And that takes forever to get over.
I'm the same way. We did. We've done 2 soups this week. We did a lemon chicken soup with rice earlier this week. And it's delicious, but it's so hot to start with, and I want to eat it, but it's so hot. And last night we did chili, and it's just like it's so good. I'm so hungry. That's why I go peanut butter sandwich, LT, because I spend the first part of it, dipping my peanut butter sandwich in it.
Nice.
Getting a little food in me.
Tyler, are you one of these fan sites of T-Pain? He is in back-to-back trashes.
Yeah, what's going on with T-Pain?
I'm not. He's just been popping up in so many stories lately.
T-Pain's got an album or something.
Yeah, well, he just got keys to the city yesterday from the Tallahassee mayor. This one's a little stranger. Mark Zuckerberg and T-Pain collaborated to release one of the most unforeseen songs of the year Wednesday, an acoustic version of Little John and the East Side Boys' Get Low. Now, Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook, teased the cover Tuesday when he shared a picture of himself and T-Pain on his Instagram story with the caption, quote, "It's happening, guys." Now, singer-songwriter, producer T-Pain followed suit, sharing the same image and referring to Zuckerberg as Z, a nod to the pair's moniker on the track, Z-Pain. Collaboration was an anniversary present for Zuckerberg's wife, Priscilla Chan. He said in an Instagram post announcing the song's release, he looks a little like Portnoy.
Which one?
A little bit. Zuckerberg.
No, not T-Pain.
I didn't think
you pulled him out of a fire, maybe.
I did not think Zuckerberg looked that much like him.
Yeah. Somebody in the back make note that if we ever need to
get canceled.
If we ever need to identify anybody in a lineup, Brown's not our choice up here.
I mean, I just didn't think Zuckerberg looked that much like him.
I think he's got a little.
We used to always say that if you're being honest about it and getting past the obvious racial lines.
Oh, is he? Wait,
What?
to defend himself, he's going to make it racial now.
No. We used to say it on the show.
He's going to make me feel bad that I laughed at this.
No, and Tyler can pull it up. If you get past the obvious racial lines, Tony Stewart and the guy that played for the Red Sox look just alike.
Jason Varitek?
No, you got to. It's a black guy. What the crap was his name?
David Ortiz?
No,
Mookie
not
Betts?
Big Papi. No.
Manny Ramirez?
Yeah, Manny Ramirez and Tony Stewart. You got to get past the obvious, like black guy
I
can't look
told you
like a white
back in
guy.
the day, I used to get Will Smith.
For you? Mm-hmm. I don't really see that.
I don't either, but I used to get it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see my 23andMe.
See, tell me that doesn't
Anyway,
have some Tony,
Zuckerberg.
Seriously, no. Look at Manram, and tell me there's not some Tony Stewart in him. Now he's going to Tony Stewart now.
As you pull that, Get Low was, quote, playing when I first met Priscilla at a college party, so every year we listen to it on our dating anniversary. Very exciting.
That is very exciting. I mean,
I'm going to jump around because
look,
we need
Tony
to get
Stewart,
to-
Manny Ramirez, Tony Stewart,
Okay,
Manny Ramirez.
you're not wrong, bro.
Thank you very much,
not
Tyler.
wrong.
I am not wrong.
Yeah, but you're not right either.
Oh, no. Again.
Somewhere in between.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
Human-like AIs have brought plenty of justifiable concerns about their ability to replace human workers, but a company is turning the tech against one of humanity's biggest hates, and that is phone scammers. The AI imitates the criminal's most popular target, the senior citizen, who keeps the fraudsters on the phone as long as possible in conversations that go absolutely nowhere. Now, the creation of O2, UK's largest mobile network operator, they have decided to read out fake numbers and names. Software is designed to keep people on the line for as long as possible. Not only does this mean less time for the scammers to target real humans, but O2 is also using these conversations to learn the favorite tricks and techniques used on these schemes. They are so convincing they managed to keep some people on the phone for more than 40 minutes at a time.
Just the way around it is you just don't answer a phone or a number you don't have saved in your phone.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to get around scammers.
But this AI is trying to catch the scammers.
Yeah.
Which I'm all for us fighting back. But I hope the new administration, they attack website scammers, phone scammers, anything that's trying to scam the American people.
All the scammers.
Go after them. I don't care where they are. If they're in the hills of the Middle East, let's go get them.
And finally, the top 10 cookies from Ranker.com. These are the best store-bought cookies. I really don't like any of these. Some are okay.
You don't like, there's 10 cookies you don't like?
Number 10, this is one of the best on the list, the famous Amos chocolate chip. And you guys, I don't think you're going to love it. Number 8 is the Chewy Chips Ahoy, which is the worst Chips Ahoy.
Yeah, not a fan.
It's awful.
Oh, yeah. Even Tyler says it's
Number 8 is the Pyroline Wafer.
No,
that's
not a cookie. That's like
a wafer.
It's a wafer.
Number
It's in the
7,
name. Yeah.
in a pinch, every now and then, it's so random and it's really only good with banana pudding, is vanilla wafer.
No, I like a Nilla
yeah,
wafer.
yeah.
The better ones are the mini Nilla wafers. I don't know why I like those better.
Yeah, because they're less center, more crunchy.
I think the mini things have more surface area of flavor.
I agree with Tyler. Yeah, you get more flavor in the mini.
Very
less
interesting.
surface area.
But it's
'cause
more surface area of flavor.
Yeah, the whole thing is flavorful.
That's right. Yeah.
Number 6 on the list, not bad, but still not a go-to. Mother's
Nah.
animal crackers. I don't like the frosting. I like
No.
my animal crackers plain, actually.
That's right.
If I'm going
I
to
like
eat them,
the
I want the
Barnums.
frosting. You like the Barnums?
Yeah.
It's better.
Number 5, I know I'm in the minority, one of the most
Nah.
overrated cookies of all time,
No.
the double stuff Oreo.
If I never eat another Oreo, I am just
I'm
fine.
right there with you.
Me too.
Yep.
Nilla wafers, only one I eat right now.
Yeah.
Number 4 is the Nutter Butter, very
Nope.
average.
Nope, don't like the peanut butter.
Number 3 is the Keebler Fudge Stripe. I don't like it at all. The fudge
no.
is terrible.
I like these now.
I
Fudge stripe,
No,
yeah.
If I'm going to do this, I'm going to go with the.
I just want
the
shortbread.
The Little Debbie fudge things.
The what?
The fudge cookie.
Oh, the
Little
fudge
Debbie-
round?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like those too.
If I'm going to do a fudge something.
Next one's got to be polarizing. The Pepper Ridge Farm Milano.
Nope. No, thank you. Boy, this is a terrible
weird flavor.
list.
I
Who
told
put
you.
this list together?
And number 1 is the Oreo, the most overrated cookie of all time.
So Oreo made it twice?
Yep.
Stuff and double stuff?
Yep.
Sure did.
Yeah, I don't like Oreos.
Yeah.
Well, that's an awful
Not good.
list.
Told you.
That's
Do
trash.
not.
Trash today brought to you by.
Hey, our friends at Mortgage Right. So remember, whether you're looking for your final home or first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Visit them online, mortgageright.com. Call 205-900-7200.
All right. It's that time to make our picks again. Do we want. Let's do the song first, and then we'll show the standings. Brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Hit it, man.
Pick three, it's time for the pick three. 3 for you and 3 for me, that equals a pick 3. Say goodbye to your family, it's time for the pick 3. Only time that I'm happy is when it's time for pick 3.
All right. Buffalo Wild Wings, man.
11 Central Alabama locations, including that Buffalo Wild Wings Go location in Vestavia, wall-to-wall TVs, 26 sauces and seasonings, along with a full menu of great burgers, wraps, and salads. Get in for lunch or dinner all weekend long to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Zach's right. Brown thinks the Oreo and the vanilla wafer look exactly the same.
Well played there, Zach.
Get past the obvious racial stereotypes.
That's right. What's the standings look like? Don't forget to go play at nextroundlive.com.
They're awful.
Nextroundlive.com.
Dear heavens.
Somebody's finally above 500.
Yeah, it's still losing money.
Yeah. Brown, did you go 3-0 this past week?
Y'all must have both gone 3-0 because we were right there together.
Crap if I know. I forget who I picked.
I was 2-1.
I thought I was 2-1 too.
I was 2-1. I don't think you were 2-1, LT. But
Well, it's hard to not be 2-1 when I was 7-2, and some of those picks came from it.
That's
But
true.
maybe so.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
it's wrong.
I don't remember.
Yeah, so there's the standings right now. I'll start us off. We'll work our way around. Here's my play. Some of these have been debunked throughout the show.
Yeah,
so I may
boy,
be-
mine got torn up by
I
Furman.
may be on the wrong side. I'm going with Tulane, -6.5 at Navy. It was -7 this morning, so I took the half point
Fighting
down.
broccoli.
I'm going Sam Houston State -15.5 at Kennesaw State. It was -16, so I took it down a half point. And then I'm going Virginia -23. Plus 23.5 is plus 23 at my bookie. Is there at Notre Dame? So those are the 3 plays I'm
I
playing
think
right
Lance,
there.
Lance just added again.
Stanford 1-18 straight up. They've lost 17 straight on the farm. I think Louisville is rolling right now. Louisville
Pay
-20.5.
attention to the second one.
Notre Dame -21.5. Too much Riley Leonard and Jeremiah Love in the backfield, and then Georgia -9.5.
Notre Dame is about to be Lance's favorite play of Saturday because I too have Virginia plus
Well, we've
the
got 3
22.5.
different numbers. Where are we getting all the numbers?
I just got mine off where we're playing it at Next Round Live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, if
I
I
got
need to go up, I just check scores and odds.
I got
but-
my
No, it's fine.
mybookie.ag is where I went for mine.
Oh, wow. We got numbers all over the place on this. I like Kansas plus the 2.5, KU plus the 2.5. BYU is living on the edge. They're about to get knocked off of it. And boy, Furman did not like Utah. I don't think Lance did either. I'm not sure if you do. Utah plus 11.5 in the early, sleepy big noon.
How fun is that Virginia logo to draw?
It's okay. This is a good Kansas one to draw. The Jayhawk is awful difficult. I've done it before in upset alert. So if you just go with the old school KU right there.
Yep.
And then the Utah with the circle and the feather, it's hard to get a good solid circle there.
Yep.
So I went with the UU.
I've done it before.
You have. It's hard to do, though.
I enjoyed drawing the Sam Houston State Bearcats.
That's a good one.
They misspelled the Sam Houston State Bearcats.
With a K.
Yeah, I didn't have enough time to do a good 2-lane green wave, so I just did enough to where you knew it was a green wave for this. And then, Virginia's my favorite logo to draw now, so I threw it out there. Even though the orange isn't showing up so good on the TV here.
Yeah,
Interesting.
how about that? Dillon, Virginia.
Go play your Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3. We'll have to come up on a common number on Notre Dame, Virginia, and
I'm not sure it's going to matter right
Notre
now.
Dame because we're all over the place. Thanks for being with us. Don't forget our content continues throughout the weekend. 9 a.m. Central Time tomorrow on our video platforms only. We'll do our Saturday morning show, get things going. Brought to you by Johnson RV Center and our friends at Champy's Chicken. That's tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Central to get you going. Emily Grace McWhorter will be at a stadium tomorrow, and she'll have all of our coverage. Her and Taylor and Forrester and I, we're sending out all stuff all weekend long on our social media platform, where we always ask you to like and subscribe and comment, thumbs up, whatever you're asked to do on those platforms, please do so at Next Round Live. Don't forget a new Meltdown today at 2 p.m. live. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.